Chapter 3878. Third More. Although the Qiandao Demon Lord and the Blood Rain Demon had been searching for the sword unparalleled in this area before, they did not use the power of the soul to sweep and investigate. After all, they were also worried that they would fight against the grass and make the swordsman escape. Therefore, in recent years they have been asking and investigating step by step. Until now, after knowing the approximate position of Jianghu Shuang, they directly used the power of the soul. In the Eternal Dark Prison, there is also a lot of restrictions on the spiritual power of the practitioner. Like the sword Wushuang in the Eternal Dark Prison, the power of the soul can only cover a range of 100,000 miles, but this is also because the sword Wushuang is only the master of the rules. He is not yet the master, and the soul's power is naturally not so strong without transformation. And this ninth dark area has the strongest Thousand-Blade Demon Lord and Blood Rain Demon. They are both the masters of the third series, the power of the soul sweeping away, enough to permeate the range of 1,000,000 miles. The two of them were filled with the power of the soul, separated from each other by a certain distance, and went all the way in the direction directed by Lingguang God, searching all the way. Within 1,000,000 miles of this area, there is no ruler. I don't have it here either. No. How fast the two men were, it didn't take long for them to search most of the area that Lingguang Xinjun said. Finally, within the soul perception range of the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord, there was a breath of rule level Lord level. I found it. As soon as the eyes of the Thousand-Blade Demon lighted up, he immediately greeted the Blood Rain Demon. Blood Rain, it is up to me to kill the Lord of the Blood Sword. All you have to do is make sure that he cannot escape. Thousand Blades Lord said. Relax, give it to me. Shuayu Dazun smiled lightly. You go alone first, don't rush to hit him, don't scare him immediately. He fled immediately, leave me some time to arrange the array. I know, but you go faster. A Thousand-Blade Demon said something, and immediately his body swept away toward the sword unparalleled. The Lord of the Blood Sword should have noticed the power of my soul to detect it, but he did not choose to leave the first time, but stood there as if waiting for me. Haha, it seems that heaven has helped me. The Lord of the Blades Devil was very happy inside. He didn't explode with the fastest speed in the first time, but slowly approached the sword Wushuang. Above the vast void, Jian Wushuang stood there and looked extremely calm. He did detect the soul searching of the Lord of the Thousand Blades, and he was vigilant the first time. After all, he also knows that in the Eternal Dark Prison, among the many prisoners except for themselves who dare to release the power of the soul so brazenly, are generally strong men who have absolute confidence in their own strength. Like the third-level masters that Jian Wushuang encountered in this Eternal Dark Prison before, even the most powerful Gubao King dare not release the power of the soul so brazenly. Who will be the master of this soul power? Jian Wushuang had a hint of curiosity in his heart, but there was no fear at all. As the opponent gradually approached, a figure soon appeared in Jian Wushuang's soul perception range. No wonder he dared to use the power of his soul so much. It turned out to be him. Jian Wushuang smiled. The prisoner information he received from the ancient night demon is very detailed, especially in this ninth dark area. As one of the 5 strongest men in the ninth dark zone, Qiandao Demon Lord, he naturally recognized it at a glance. In the information given by the ancient night demon king, this Qiandao Demon Lord is good at kendo, and the sword skill is very strong. Looking at the current situation, it is obvious that the Qiandao Demon Lord came to me deliberately, no accident. It came from my Wu Weeping Sword. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. He possesses the rule of treasure Wu Crying Excalibur, which he did not hide at all, although the information transmission in this Eternal Dark Prison is very difficult. But after all, it is in the ninth dark zone, and the Thousand-Blade Lord is also very informed normal. Knowing that the master of the Thousand Blades had arrived, Jian Wushuang still did not have the slightest intention to flee and left, but continued to stand there, waiting quietly. In a blink of an eye, the Master Chen Chen already appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. Ah, Your Excellency is the Lord of the Blood Sword? The hearty laughter sounded. After the arrival of the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord, he didn't plan to shoot immediately, but greeted Jian Shuang with enthusiasm. Thousand-Edged Demon Lord, long-awaited name. Jian Wushuang also laughed. I heard early on that there was a super genius in this ninth dark area, and the master level of the rule realized a trace of the laws of the universe, and the sword skill was even higher. There is no way to even the third-level master to take one. Yes, I see you. The Master Chen Chen smiled with enthusiasm. Qiandao Demon Lord, I don't know why you are here this time. Jian Wushuang did not have the time to listen to the boast of the Qiandao Demon Lord, but directly asked his intention. It's true, I'm here this time mainly for the Blood Sword Group's magical sword in your hand. Thousand Blade Demon Lord said positively. Sure enough, it came from the magic sword of law. Jian Wushuang chuckled. The Lord of the Blood Sword, you also know how dangerous this eternal dark prison is. Although you have some strength after all, you are only a ruler who possesses rules and treasures. If this matter is strengthened by ulterior motives, the person knows that he will definitely come to kill you at all costs. It can be said that the magic sword of the magic circle in your hand is a fragrant magpie and will attract countless strong men to come. That's it. Jian Wushuang made no comment. But if the rule of the supreme sword is completely different in my hands, my current strength is already the top level in the first layer of this eternal dark prison, and it is worse than those 10 kings, but if I get the rule of the supreme sword I can match the 10 kings. Then I can become the 11th king. Then the rule of the most sword is in my hands and I dare not it. Snatch. Thousand Blades Lord said again. Well, it's possible. Jian Wushuang nodded again. That being the case, why do you, the Lord of the Blood Sword, be the beauty of an adult, and hand me that ruled treasure sword? Of course I will never treat you badly. I have countless treasures in my hand, except for a few that are of great use to me. Beyond the treasure you can choose as much as you like. In addition, I can also guarantee that when I become a new queen, I will take up a large territory for you, let you become the lord of that territory, have my protection, and in this eternal dark prison, I will never who can threaten you. Bloodsword Master, what do you think? Chen Blade Demon stared at Jian Wushuang tightly. 3 Heads M. Chapter 3879. Fourth More. Treasures in my hand, let me choose. Even if you become a new queen, you will occupy a territory for me and make me a lord? Jian Wushuang showed a playful smile. He looked at the master of the Thousand Blades but said with a smile, Thousand Blades Master, you know that I can't give you that rule of precious sword, and I have tried my best to persuade me. Let me guess, what is your idea? The face of the Thousand-Edged Demon changed. Suddenly, the surrounding void created an extremely weak wave. This fluctuation, although extremely weak, was immediately noticeable by Jian Wushuang. Matrix. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. No wonder you are a waste of words here with the master of 1,000 blades. It turned out that someone had arranged the matrix in secret. Now this matrix should be formed. Giggle. Knowing that the formation has been formed, but the Lord of the Blood Sword has no fear at all, this calmness is admirable. A faint coquettish laughter came from the void, a beautiful one with a few the demonized figures slowly appeared in the void. Seeing people, Jian Wu's eyes and pupils could not help shrinking. Blood Rain Demon? The 5th strongest of the 9th Dark Zone, the Qinbiao Demon's attack and kill ability is extremely good. It should be said that it is the strongest attack and kill method. The Blood Rain Demon is good at formation, and her formation is incomparable. Even if the master of the 1,000 blades accidentally falls into it, it will be extremely troublesome. These two people can say that each has their own means, but now they are appearing in front of them at the same time. Blood Rain Demon, are you also interested in the rule of treasure in my hand? Jian Wushuang asked. Who doesn't want the rule of treasure? But here is in the eternal dark prison after all, the resources are limited, and the law of the treasure in your hand does not match the magic soldier I use. I'm not very interested in your rule of treasure. But I once owed the favor of the Chen Blade Demon Lord. This time the Chen Blade Demon asked me to help him to seize the rule of your treasure, and I can't refuse it. Zhuzhen laughed. 1,000 blades, the formation method has been arranged and there is a formation method. Unless he is comparable to the top 10 kings in attack power, otherwise even if the attack power is comparable to you, if you fall into this array, you will not be able to do so in a short time. Very good. 1,000 Blade Demon Lord was overjoyed, and his eyes turned to Jian Wushuang again. The enthusiastic face had disappeared long ago, replaced by a cold, sharp. I was worried that this kid might escape from me, so I spent so much time talking with him so that you can arrange the formation around. Now the formation is done. This kid can't escape the wings and I don't bother. He talked nonsense to him, shot him directly and killed him, and that rule of magic sword is mine. 1,000 Blade Lord's voice was indifferent, with an endless killing intention. He slapped it, and a purple Excalibur has appeared in his hands. The power of the purple Excalibur is also extremely weak, and it is obviously the strongest magic weapon that reaches the highest level. However, when the sword Wushuang took out the Wu Weeping Excalibur, the faint rule spreads the treasure breath. The light on the surface of the purple Excalibur body immediately dimmed a lot, and the breath was greatly weakened. It is truly a rule of law. Although it hasn't collided directly, just showing up makes my Excalibur less powerful. Thousand Blade Demon sighed, but the desire for Wu Cry Excalibur was growing deeper. Lord of the Blood Sword die. Thousand Blade Demon Lord has vast demon power rising suddenly just like a demon from Jianghu Hell. His physique was also a whole lot bigger than before, and the terrible magic mighty oppressive sword came from oppression. Jian Wushuang was the first to trigger the combination of the magic light realm and the mysterious realm, trying to suppress the master of the Thousand Blades as much as possible. However, once Qiandao Demon Lord is extremely powerful, even if the sword unparalleled field is completely oppressed on him, it can only slightly affect his strength, let alone the Qiandao Demon Lord's eternal dark prison for so many years. Or the ninth dark area recognized as the strongest, the domain category in his hands must have some. When I saw the idea of the Thousand Blades Demon, a vast black flame was burning wildly. This black flame field is no weaker than Jian Wushuang's magic light field. Even with the blessing of the Shuangguang realm, Jian Wushuang's field only has a slight upper hand. The Qiandao Demon Lord was still so powerful, and in the blink of an eye he was killed in front of Jian Wushuang. The purple Excalibur in his hand slammed like a purple electric snake across the void, bursting into the throat of Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang flaunted behind his wings, and his figure flew back a few steps in succession, followed by a dive, followed by a high-level wave of the Wu weapon sword in his hand, and directly cut off. The two collided, and a huge force was transmitted directly along Jian Wushuang's arm. The sword's two-sided color sank and its shape was twisted, which perfectly resolved the impact of this force. The right hand of the Wu weapon sword took advantage. What? The strongest swordplay hazy. Wow. Shocking sword shadow mighty show. Ha! The light of fireflies dare to compete with the sun and the moon. The master of the thousand-edged devil showed no contempt, his Bodhis spirit rolled, and the purple Excalibur in his hand suddenly became larger, just like a who raised the sky and opened a giant sword. This giant sword is indeed capable of breaking new ground. There was a loud noise and the sword's double body was shocked, and the whole man flew out like a shell. The terrifying power from the purple Excalibur also acted on his deity. Even with the weakening of the Wujin demon armor on the surface, there were still a lot of impacts on him, causing him some damage. It is indeed the ninth dark area to attack the most powerful thousand-edged demon lord. Before I fought against that Lingguang God King, I also used hazy sword skills to resist his strongest trick, Wuji Xingguang, although the sword skills were defeated, but the misty aura did not hurt me, but now the swordsmanship of the thousand-edged demon really hurt me. And this sword just now is by no means the strongest trick of the thousand-edged demon lord. Jian Wushuang marveled. It is also the master of the third level. The Lingguang God is enough to rank in the top 50 in this ninth dark area, but compared with the 1000 of the 5 strongest one, the gap is still too big. Novel. In the face of Lingguang Shinjun, Jian Wushuang can completely try to compete positively. But in the face of the master of the thousand blades, it is obviously impossible for him to compete directly. Thousand-edged Lord, try my sword again. Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Wow! The void in front of him seemed to be plunged into a continuous sea, and countless waves of layers spread endlessly. The sky's sword-like ocean, surging and surging, completely covered the Qiandao Demon Lord ahead. End of this chapter. Chapter 3880? Fifth more. Sword Art. One of the 3 strongest swordsmanships of Jian Wushuang, used to entangle the enemy's swordsmanship. After the sword unparalleled fusion of the 4-door rules, this sword skill has greatly improved in both power and resilience. Now this sword skill is perfectly demonstrated from the sword without hands. The mighty sword-like waves, endless, rush towards the Lord of the Thousand Blades. The Qiandao Demon Lord is a strong swordsman in his own right. He is now standing at the center of Jinni Ocean and can clearly sense the endless mood in Jinni Ocean. It's a very powerful artistic conception, and this sword art is also quite useful. If you can't completely disintegrate this sword art in one breath, I'm afraid this endless wave will be endless. The Qian Blade Lord's eyes were cold, and the next moment he raised his hand, the purple Excalibur, a purple swordmang like a purple thunder that fell from the sky, cut off fiercely in front of the sword in front of the ocean. Wow! Under the sweep of purple thunderbolt, the sword-like ocean ahead immediately began to retreat and collapse at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, the entire Jinni Ocean collapsed by nearly 90%, but the power of the purple thunderbolt was also completely exhausted and dissipated in the heavens and the earth. What? There was a hint of surprise in the Thousand Blades Lord's head, but he immediately restored peace. This kid, No wonder he can use this trick to make many third-level masters do nothing. The toughness of this sword is stronger than expected. Even if I try my best, I can't completely use this sword. Destroyed, the Gubao King's attack and killing ability is far worse than mine. His strongest blow, I am afraid that at most he can only wipe out the sword art by 60% to 70%, but in a blink of an eye, this sword art mood can be fully restored. Thousand Blade Demon Lords have seen that the surrounding sword-shaped ocean that has collapsed by nearly 90%, within a short period of time, has restored its former appearance. It was still mighty, and endless waves continued to flow towards him. It seems that I want to kill this kid, but I really have to take some measures to do it. The sharp blade flashed in the master's eyes. Fan Tianjian. The meaning of killing instantly filled the whole world. The surrounding space in the sense of this killing began to tremble. Even Jian Shuangshuang couldn't help but raise his head. Wow! A ruthless sword was cut off mercilessly. This swordmang, bright and dazzling, is full of terrible fronts that kill the world. In a blink of an eye, the swordman's arm was already split on the sword-shaped ocean directly in front of it. The sky-filled and extremely tough sword-shaped ocean melted directly under the sweep of the sword light. In a short time, the entire sword of the sea was melted more than 90%, and there is still a lot of power in that sword. Finally, the huge ocean of swords was completely dissipated, and the sword style of Wushuang also completely collapsed. My wave lightsaber was defeated by the front? Jian Wu's eyes synced slightly. Wave lightsaber, after he integrated the 4 rules, has been improved to a certain extent, much tougher than before. However, the Qiandao Demon Lord is still a sword to completely defeat his sword skill, but I can imagine how powerful the sword of the Qiandao Demon Lord just was. It is indeed the 9th dark area to attack and kill first. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly but still relaxed. Such a relaxed look was naturally seen by the Thousand Blade Demon Lord and the Bloody Rain Demon next to the void. This boy, his proud swordsmanship has been defeated by a sword in front of me. What else can't be done? Qiandao Demon frowned. Thousand Blade Demon Lord. Sword Wushuang said, I have created 3 of the strongest swordsmanship in the Eternal Dark Prison for so many years. The one that I chose to bump up against you is the swordsmanship of the main attack. Obviously the power nowhere near you. The wave of swordplay that I just cast is a swordplay used to entangle the enemy. It was also directly broken by your sword. But next I will perform the last one of the 3 swords I created. This sword is called Earth Guard. It is mainly used to defend the body, but I do want to know if you can use my sword. Break open. Jian Wushuang chuckled and waved with his right hand, driving the endless sword intention to sweep away. Buzzing. A large number of earth-colored earth rules swept up. In addition to the earth rules, the other 3 major rules also poured into the sword. A heavy and major sword area was formed, and in the blink of an eye, in front of Jian Wushuang, a full 51 major sword areas were condensed. 51 is headed by the rules of the earth, which contains the earth sword area full of the power of the 4 rules. This is Jian Wushuang's strongest body protection sword skill. Lord of the Blades, come and try it. With a smile on his face, Jian Wushuang has absolute confidence in his sword guarding the earth. What kind of body protection sword art, in front of absolute strength by any means, is futile? See me break your body protection sword art. Thousand Blade Demon Lord Lengheng, purple sword in his hand raised again. That terrifying killing is flooding the world again. Fan Tianjian. Thousand Blade Demon shot, and the one that was cast was the sword that had just defeated the wave of swordplay. That dazzling with a sword of endless killing. I saw that the world swordmang was cut out mercilessly, and immediately split on the ground guarding the sword area in front of the sword less double-sided. In just one moment, most of the 51 major land sword areas collapsed, but the remaining land sword areas were still indestructible. The speed of the worldwide Jianmang gradually became slow, and in the end, the power was completely exhausted and completely dissipated, but the sword area of the earth before the sword had no double sides was still full. 51 heavy earth sword area of far higher quality than before, even you fortified the 42 heavy at once. Thousand-edged Lord, your power of swordsmanship, indeed. Jian Wushuang laughed at will, and in the blink of an eye the 51 major sword domains are restored again. But the look of the Thousand Blades Lord was a little gloomy. He actually blocked my penalty sword? And 51 heavy sword domains, there are 9 remaining. Obviously his swordsmanship ability is far from reaching the limit. Thousand Blades, it seems that you underestimated the Lord of the Blood Sword. The playful voice of Blood Rain Demon also sounded at this moment. I wasn't surprised. The Lord of the Blood Sword, the ruler of the rules and the rule of treasure, has been living in the eternal dark prison. How can there be no means of life-saving? Now it seems that he is the strongest. The means of life-saving should be this body protection swordsmanship, and even my penalty sky sword can be blocked by the front, which is really powerful. Chen Blade Demon said lowly. He also recognized the power of Jian Wushuang's body protection sword skill, but it was not impossible. End of this chapter. Chapter 3881. 6 more arrived today. I have spent hundreds of chaotic times in the eternal dark prison. I created 2 swords of punishment and blood. Based on these 2 swords, I killed prisoners in the hundreds of chaos, even the 3rd level. I have killed many prisoners. The whole eternal dark prison, I am not afraid of anyone except the supreme 10 kings. The Lord of the Blood Sword and the Lord of the Rules, how can I stump me? The 1,000-edged demon lord's eyes were cold. On mighty power, my blood sky sword is nearly twice as strong as the punishment Tianjian. Awu, you can't kill him if you don't believe me. Boom. The monstrous magical powers twitched frantically. 1,000-blade lord's eyes became scarlet, and at the same time the whole body surface showed a hint of dark red. This dark red is like the color of blood. Blood stained the heavens. This is the strongest sword skill created by the 1,000-edged demon lord, the blood sky sword. Dad. The 1,000-edged demon snorted loudly, hysterically. The purple Excalibur in his hand trembled violently, and at this moment it was completely red. Wow. This is a thrilling blood-colored swordman. This blood-colored swordman was cold and dark, with a sense of unprecedented killing, and it appeared in front of Jian Wushuang in an instant. Jian Wu's eyes also sink slightly. Are you stronger swordsmanship? I don't know if my Earthguard swordsmanship can resist this sword. There is also a glimmer of expectation in the sword without eyes. The blood-colored swordman slashed directly on the land of the sword of the earth, and an instant of terrifying power and a terrible cutting force burst out. The surface of the 51 major sword area permeated by the sword-free body was smashed 40 times in the blink of an eye, followed by the collapse of the major sword area. 47th, 48th. In the end, this blood-colored Jianmong directly broke the 49th major sword area of the swordless body surface, but was resisted by the 50th major sword area. The Qindao Demon Lord is the strongest sword and stops at the 50th. Unexpectedly, it didn't break? This time the master of the 1,000 blades was really shocked. He has absolute confidence in his ability to attack and kill. The strongest sword skill blood sky sword he cast with all his strength, purely on the power. I am afraid that he is almost approaching the 10 most powerful kings. Except for the top 10 strongest kings, there are not a few 3rd-level masters in the 1st level of the eternal dark prison, which can surpass him in pure power. But in the end, the strongest swordplay that he is most proud of, has not been able to break the bodyguard swordplay of the ruler in front of him? Giggle, it's interesting now. The Blood Rain Demon, who had been watching the battle in the void, looked at it with a strange light. 1,000-blade masters. It seems that your strongest swordsmanship is just that. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly, and in the bottom of his heart, he was very satisfied with the defensibility of the Earthguard swordsmanship. The strongest swordsmanship of the 1,000-edged demon lord, the power has definitely reached the level of the 3rd-level higher master. In this eternal dark prison, I am afraid that the 10 kings can beat him in the power of attack, yes, but his sword still could not completely break my guardian sword of the earth. Jian Wushuang smiled gently. He had previously guessed that after integrating the 4 rules, the Earthguard swordsmanship, which was re-improved mainly by the earth, should be very arrogant in terms of body protection. Now it seems that it is. Blood Rain, this boy's body swordsmanship is quite good. I want to kill him, very difficult. I'm afraid you have to help. Chen Blade Demon chanted. 1,000 blades, when you asked me to shoot before, you can say, as long as I arrange the formation to prevent him from escaping. As for killing him, it is up to you to do it yourself. But you didn't say you wanted me to kill him. Shuyu Mozen smiled with amusement. I didn't expect this boy's body sword art would be so good at the time. 1,000-edged demon lord looked gloomy. Blood Rain, help me, what benefits do you want? Blood Rain Demon will help the 1,000-blade demon lord this time, but he has owed so much to him. But before the Chen Blade Demon Lord went to invite the Blood Rain Demon, he said that this kind of humanity can only be exchanged for the Blood Rain Demon to arrange the array method to prevent the sword unparalleled. As for the Blood Rain Demons to take the shot himself, Chen Blade Demon Lord did not say that this is naturally beyond the scope of that human relationship. The Blood Rain Demon has no good friendship with the 1,000-edged Demon Lord. Seeing the situation in front of him, Blood Rain Demon directly puts forward the conditions. The 5 best treasures at the highest level, I can help you. Thousand Blade Lord frowns suddenly. The strongest treasure is common in Eternal Dark Prison, and it's easy to get. You can get many of these strongest treasures by simply killing a second-level master. But the strongest treasure of the highest level, there are fewer. Under normal circumstances, a third-level master, only a few hands will have 1 or 2 pieces of the highest level of the highest treasure. However, there is a third level dominated by the most powerful arcane treasure at hand. It is generally extremely difficult to kill, so the Master of the Thousand Blades is one of the 5 strongest in the 9th dark area, but the best level in your hand is the strongest treasure, and the number is not too much. The Blood Rain Demon statue needs 5 at a time, which is really not a small number. However, the thought of the magic sword in the hands without the sword, the Master of the Thousand Blades gritted his teeth and directly agreed, "Yes, the 5 most precious Arctic treasures I will give you afterwards." That's not okay. After all, what you are good at is kendo. Once you kill the Lord of the Blood Sword, you get the rule of the Lord of the Blood Sword. The strength is soaring. I'm afraid I can only escape my life before you. Now, if you do and want to give it back afterwards, I do and have anyway, so you first give me the 5 best treasures of the highest level, and I will take another shot. This should be more secure. Qindao Demon gritted his teeth but still focused. "Yes, the strongest 5 treasures I will give you now." Having said that, the Master of the 1000 Blades waved his hand directly and threw a Jianghu ring towards the Blood Rain Demon. After the Blood Rain Demon took over, his consciousness swept away and he smiled and nodded, but then said, "Chen Blade, I have to make it clear. Although I promise to take the shot, I will do my best, but if I still see and kill the blood afterwards, Lord of the Sword, then you can't blame me. Of course, you only need to do your best," Thousand-Edged Demon said. After the two had reached an agreement, the Blood Rain Demon statue only slowly came towards the sword Wushuang. From the beginning to the end, listening to the conversation between the two men, Jian Wushuang's look has been very flat, and did not mean to interrupt the two. Chapter 3882. The first is more. Why Blood Rain Demon also intends to fail? Jian Wushuang looked indifferently at the Blood Rain Demon who was coming. In terms of strength, the Blood Rain Demon is equal to the Thousand Blade Demon Lord, but the areas they are good at are completely different. Blood Rain Demon is best at matrix formation, followed by soul. Her mastery of the soul is extremely high, and the soul attack is extremely terrible. This is why the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord spent 5 pieces of the best treasure of the highest level. Blood Rain, the Lord of the Blood Sword, is against the sky, and it is only the Lord of the rules. His soul must not be strong. Using your accomplishments in the soul to directly perform a soul attack, it should be easy to kill him. As long as the soul is annihilated, no matter how strong his body protection ability is. Qinbian Demon said. Blood Rain Demon's gaze with evil charms solidified on Jian Wushuang's body. "The Lord of the Blood Sword, you are an out-of-the-box genius. Your talent is enough to amaze me, but unfortunately here is an eternal darkness in prison. If you want to survive here, it's useless to rely on talents, so I can only sorry for you." Blood Rain Demon's voice was soft and pitiful, but while she was talking she already had a faint strange light flashing in her eyes. "Fall down." As soon as the voice fell, a majestic force of soul immediately came to cover the sword. Jian Wushuang could not escape at all, and the power of the soul entered his sea of knowledge, destroying his deadly desire to destroy his soul. The power of this soul is too huge and overbearing. After all, it is the 3rd level of the soul attack, but Jian Wushuang is only the ruler of the rule. The soul has not been transformed. In the face of this level of soul attack he has no room to struggle. In a blink of an eye the soul annihilates. Dead. Shuyu Mozen smiled. It is indeed a blood rain. In addition to the formation method, your soul attack is also a must in this eternal dark prison. Thousand Blade Master surprised. "Don't brag about me, my soul attack is not very strong, but the soul of the Lord of the Blood Sword is too weak." Shuyu Dezun laughed. "Once 1,000 blades, the Lord of the Blood Sword is dead. Hurry up and get your rule." The Master of the 1,000 Blades could not wait any longer, and he immediately planned to make thousands. Suddenly, the Sword Lord, whose soul had been annihilated, suddenly opened his eyes again, and there was a hint of slyness in his eyes. When he saw the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord coming, he grinned and showed a strange smile. "What?" Thousand Blades Lord's figure paused immediately. "How is that possible?" Blood Rain Demon was also surprised. Both of them could see clearly just now that the soul of the Lord of the Blood Swords had indeed been completely annihilated, but now. Impossible, your soul has been completely annihilated by me, how could it not die? The Blood Rain Demon's face was incredible. The soul will die when it is annihilated? Blood Rain Demon, you may be too arbitrary. Besides, if you look at it now, is my soul already annihilated? Jian Wushuang smiled and immediately swept away with a soul. However, although the power of this soul is relatively weak compared to the Chen Blade Demon Lord and the Blood Rain Demon, it is indeed the soul power of Jian Wushuang. How can this be? Thousand Blade Demon Lord widened his eyes. Is that the legend? Shuyu Mozan suddenly thought of a possibility. Legend? The Lord of the Thousand Blades looked at it immediately. In the legend, there are many special lives born in the vast universe. Among them, there is a special life that reaches a perfect level. Its soul has been integrated into every part of the Buddhist divine power. It is said to be immortal. Even if the soul is annihilated, it can consume some divine power. Instant recovery. Shuyu Mozan trembled. Perfect life. Thousand Blade Lord also stared at Jian Wushuang. Perfect life in the legend requires the accumulation of a long time in the entire vast universe to be able to give birth to one, right? Probably a little bit more universe than the ruler. The super genius that is rare in the billions of stars is still rare. The Lord of the Blood Sword is a practitioner of perfect life level? Although I do not want to admit it, it seems that there is only this kind of explanation. The Blood Rain Demon looks very dignified. The Lord of the Blood Sword not only understands a little of the law of the universe at the level of the Master of the Rule, is the kind of super genius that is rare in billions of stars. At the same time, he is a more perfect life-level cultivator than this kind of genius. The combination of the two can definitely be regarded as the most anti-superhero in the vast universe. Genius. Thousand Blades, the Lord of the Blood Sword is a practitioner of perfect life level. If you want to kill him to win the treasure, I'm afraid it will be difficult. Why? Even if he is a perfect life, the soul annihilation can be restored by divine power, but every time he restores the soul, he should lose a lot of divine power. He is now trapped here by us and can't escape at all as long as you perform the soul attack time and time again, and continue to consume his divine power. His divine power will be exhausted sooner or later, and then it will be the same death. Chen Blade Lord said coldly. Hearing this, Zhuzhen smiled coldly. Thousand Blades, are you afraid that you don't know enough about the perfect level of life? I tell you, the reason why the perfect level of life is so bad, except for this life in addition to the innate advantage of Motion, he has the vast divine power. Don't look at him as a ruler, but his divine power is definitely dozens or even hundreds of times greater than our masters. Yes, if I perform a soul attack time and time again, I can indeed force him to spend his divine power and perform soul repair again and again, but each time he repairs his divine power, it is very rare. His divine power can completely support him for thousands of times. Soul repair even nearly 10,000 times, but what about me? When you perform a soul attack every time, you do indeed need to consume the soul. Take the power of my soul compared to the power of the Lord of the Blood Sword, you want it? Thousand Blade Demon Master stunned. Yes, Blood Rain Demon cast his soul to attack the soul of the Annihilation Sword Wushuang, although he can force Jian Wushuang to spend divine power to repair the divine power again and again. But by the same token, the Blood Rain Demon respects his own soul's power consumption, and with his current soul strength, he can perform a one-time annihilation of the sword Wushuang Soul's soul attack, which can only be performed at most dozens of times. It will consume most of it, and the sword's magic power is probably not consumed at all. I can't kill him simply by attacking my soul. Blood Rain Demon said in a deep voice. Chapter 382, Helplessness, page 1/1, bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 3883, Second More. Blood Rain Demon, anyway, is also the top powerhouse in the eternal dark prison for so many years, but at this moment also has to praise the terrible ability of the sword's peerless life-saving ability. In terms of material attack, the sword is unique in that it has the most powerful body swordsmanship, and even the strongest trick of Qinbian Demon cannot be broken forcibly. And on the soul, because of the perfect life, he got the soul invincible from the beginning. Coupled with perfect life, practitioners have a vast foundation of divine power, this life-saving ability, really against the sky. Although it is only the Master of Rules, this life-saving ability alone can indeed run rampant in this eternal dark prison. Thousand Blade Masters, if you really want to kill the Lord of the Blood Sword and win the magic sword of his hands, there are only two ways to do it. Two methods? Which two? Chen Blade Demon Lord has come to the side of Blood Rain Demon and asked. The first soul attack. Yes, I can't kill him by attacking the soul alone, but if you have the ability to invite hundreds of masters who are good at soul attack, you can take an uninterrupted soul attack on the Lord of the Blood Sword in turn, and you may have a chance to consume death him. Blood Rain Demon said. Hundreds of masters who are good at attacking with 2 puppets? The Qiandao Demon Lord froze but then shook his head directly. Impossible. The method of soul attack is a relatively alternative method. Of the 100 masters, I am afraid that not one of them will concentrate on the soul attack. In this 9th, although there are more than 100,000 prisoners in the dark area, among them, those who are good at soul attack may not exceed 100 in total. And the most important thing is that even if there are so many strong people who are good at soul attack in the 9th dark area, the news in this eternal dark prison is blocked. How can I invite them all in a short time, let alone one time? Please call hundreds of strong men. These strong men will definitely make some demands and all of them add up. I'm afraid I can't afford it. Then there is only the second method, relying on material attack. Blood Rain Demon voice muffled, although the body sword master of this blood sword master is powerful, but your strongest attack by the Thousand Blade Master is almost he has destroyed his body swordsmanship, so as long as he can invite a practitioner who is stronger than you by 1 level of power, you may kill him. On the power of attack, I can be regarded as the top level in the first layer of this eternal dark prison. To be stronger than me in the power of attack, there are only the 10 most powerful kings. Qian the Blade Lord's eyes narrowed slightly. But there are countless strong men in the first layer of this eternal dark prison. Each of them has survived hundreds of times of chaos in this eternal dark prison. All kinds of means are available and I know one person. Although he can't communicate with 10, the Great King is comparable, but his strongest hole card is also his strongest attack method. In terms of power, he can also be compared with the 10 most powerful kings. Oh. Blood Rain Demon looked over immediately. Who is this person? The 87th dark area, the 1000 killed the Emperor. Is he? Blood Rain Demon looked. I have heard of him before, knowing that he is recognized as the #1 strongest among the 87 dark areas, and some people say that his combat power is in the whole. The dragon domain can also be ranked in the top 10. Ha, that's the strongest means you don't know yet. I've seen him before. Once his strongest means came out, his power was comparable to the top 10 kings. With him, you should be able to see this. The Lord of the Blood Sword beheaded. Then you can be sure to invite the 1000 slave monarchs? Shuiyu Mozen asked. I don't know, but I can try it. Thousand Blade Demon Lord squinted his eyes slightly. In this way it will bother you, the Blood Rain Demon, and you will continue to perform the formation and trap the Lord of the Blood Sword. I went to the 87th dark area to personally invite the 1000 killed monarch. I have dealt with this 1000 killed monarch. This time I personally went to ask him to give him full face and pay a certain price. There should be hope for him. It's just the 87th dark area, which is a little far from the 9th dark area we are in. Even if I get there at my speed and ask the Emperor to come back, it will take at least hundreds of years to go back and forth. So I can only bother you with the Blood Rain Demon. You have continued to trap the Lord of the Blood Sword for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years? Blood Rain Demon nodded slightly. Since I promised to help you with 1000 Blade Demon Lord, I will naturally do it, but for hundreds of years I will always be trapped by him. But I have to explain in advance, it'll wait at most for 1000 years. If you haven't returned from the 87th dark zone within 1000 years, then no wonder I am. 1000 years is absolutely enough. It's not too late and I'm going now. 1000 Blade Demon said. Then I'm here, waiting for the good news from the 1000 Blade Lord. Shuiyu Dazun smiled. The 1000-edged Demon Lord immediately set off and left, while the Blood Rain Demon looked deeply at Jian Wushuang, and immediately fluttered slightly, already integrated into the surrounding formation. The sword Wushuang has been staying in the final cultivation of the array of law, calmly watching the 2-edged Demon Lord and Blood Rain Dazun too. However, when the Qian Blade Demon Lord talked to Blood Rain Demon, he deliberately blocked the surrounding space. Jian Wushuang did not know what the two said. But Qian Blade Demon took the initiative to leave, but he saw it. The 1000-edged Demon Lord is gone. Have you given up? The sword has two-sided weirdness. No, it should not have been given up, otherwise the formation around it should also be removed, but this formation is obviously still there, and the rule of my hand is the most precious sword, which is enough to make Qian Blade Lord at all costs. He should not give up so easily. As for him leaving now, maybe he'll invite some other strong men to come and join forces to kill me. Jian Wushuang has already guessed the purpose of the 1000 Blade Demon Master to leave. Obviously, the two can't kill themselves by the two-handed demon lord and the blood rain demon. The one-man demon lord is unwilling to give up, and can only find a way to invite some other strong people to come. Although I don't know who the thousand-edged demon lord invited, this time Jian Wushuang was not worried at all. Anyway, with his own disciple's token in the red cloud, he can use the eternal power of the eternal dark prison to suppress everything at all times. In this case, what else does he need to worry about? He was not in a hurry to use his disciple's tokens directly, but began to observe the formations around him. Jian Wushuang walked to the surrounding void, and had not yet taken 2 more steps. The rumble. The void immediately trembled, followed closely by a large black flame and rushed towards him. End of this chapter. Chapter 3884. Third more. The flames don't seem to be very strong. Sword Wushuang swayed with one hand. Although it is just a very random sword, it can drive the origin of Kendo universe and that trace of cosmic law. The mighty power that erupted in an instant is also extremely powerful, and it directly cuts off the raging sky flame in front of it. But the black flame was not immediately extinguished after being cut off, but it was more vigorously burning, and continued to surge towards the sword unparalleled. Jian Wushuang can only shoot again. Wow, 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 wow. One after another, Jingguang was chopped out, and although the incoming flames were easily cut, they could not be extinguished. These flames are burning more and more vigorously, and the number is increasing. This array is a bit difficult to tangle. Jian Wushuang frowned. At this time, the shape of the blood rain demon suddenly emerged from the void around Jian Wushuang. Useless. Shuyu Dezun looked at Jian Wushuang with an evil smile. The Lord of the Blood Sword, although your body protection ability and life-saving ability can be called against the sky, but your own strength is too weak, and my formation anyway I also carefully arranged, although the power of attack and killing is average however, the ability to trap people is extremely great. Even if the Lord of the Thousand Blades is caught in this formation, if I do not actively let him go, he will have to attack the formation many times before he can force me. This formation is broken. As for you, even if you stay in this array of attacks tens of thousands of times, 100,000 times, you can't shake my array of methods at all. The sword did not sink in two-sided color. By the way, haven't you also performed a sword technique that entangled the enemy? In fact, my formation has some similarities with the sword technique you have previously performed. Your sword technique evolves into a sea of swords, endless and continuous endless, and the black flame in my formation is also endless and there is no end. The more you attack it, the more its number will increase unless you can also perform a mighty offensive, directly break through the law with force, break through my formation. Shuyu Dezun laughed. Jian Wushuang heard the words of the blood rain demon, and continued to wave the divine sword to attack those black flames coming from the surrounding area. Okay. But he still continued to wield the Excalibur sword to cut off those black flames of the sword, but suddenly stared. Material method? It is very similar to my wave lightsaber. Even the artistic conception is also used to trap the enemy? Jian Wushuang muttered, but at this moment his mind suddenly emerged a thought, to be precise, it is an idea. Matrix method, if I also know how to perform the matrix method and then incorporate the matrix method into my sword art, such as the wave lightsaber to wave lightsaber array, what would happen? Jian Wushuang could not help but think. Formation but also sword formation. This sword array, which relies on the power of the formation method, is better than its simple sword skill anyway, right? And the guardian swordsmanship of the earth, if it can transform the swordplay into the guardian swordsmanship of the earth, will its defense ability be stronger? Jian Wushuang flashed this thought in his mind, and after thinking about it, he found out that his own thought was completely possible to get to know one another. And since he created wave lightsaber and earthguard swordsmanship, especially on earthguard swordsmanship, although the sword guard ability is very strong, Jian Wushuang has always felt that this sword art is still lacking something, not really perfect. He has always been eager to improve the guardian sword of the earth as much as possible, making it more tough and terrible. However, Jian Wushuang has not been able to find a way to improve it, but now, being trapped in the formation of the blood rain demon, and coupled with the words of the blood rain demon just now, it makes Jian Wushuang suddenly stunned, and found it is possible to perfect sword art. That is to use the power of the formation method to improve your sword skill into a sword formation. A complete sword array must be more powerful than simple swordsmanship. Ah. This seemingly unintentional remark by the blood rain demon has actually helped me a lot. Yes, sword array, I can transform my swordplay into a sword array, and it is arranged by the blood rain demon. The formation is there, and I can also feel a lot of things from this formation, and it will be easier to improve in this way. Jianwu's eyes flashed with a strange light. Immediately he sat down on this plate, and then began to realize carefully the surrounding powers. The sky's black flames rushed towards him in succession, countless, the same endless. Even if it was cut, it will not be annihilated but will be more vigorous. These are all carefully learned by Jianwu Shuang. Time began to pass. Jianwu Shuang found a way to perfect his swordsmanship, so he was not in a hurry to leave this array, but stayed in this array, quietly participating in the experience. Blink, 600 years have passed. During these 600 years, Jianwu Shuang has been staying in that formation and never came out, and the blood rain demon has stayed here for a full 600 years. Although they are strong, the passerby passed by, but when he saw the blood rain demon immediately frightened away, he did not dare to approach at all, and no one knew what the blood rain demon was doing in this array. The two streams of light flew from the distant void at a very fast speed, and in the blink of an eye, they came to the void where the blood rain demon arranged the array. The streamers dissipated, and two figures slowly appeared in this world. It's finally here. A thousand-edged demon master with a face like ice jade was smiling. Next to the thousand-edged demon lord is a middle-aged man in a loose robe. This middle-aged man has cold eyes and a sense of killing. He is a thousand-slave monarch. In the name of 1,000 kills, there is no doubt that he is a true killer. 1,000 blades, the person you want me to deal with is here? Thousands of emperors began. Yes, he was trapped here by me 600 years ago, and I have been trapped by the Matrix for the past 600 years, and then I went to the 87th Dark Area to invite you. It invited you over. Chen Blade Lord laughed. The price you paid is also high enough, otherwise I won't bother to accompany you on this trip. The Emperor of 1,000 Kills was carrying both hands, and at the same time he took a deep look at the Lord of 1,000 Blades. You made it hard to deliberately go to the 87th Dark Area to invite me, who is also willing to pay such a great price to kill. What is so strange, or why do you kill him at all costs? Although the 1,000 Blades Lord was invited to kill one person for the 1,000 Blades Lord, but the reason and purpose of the 1,000 Blades Lord to kill each other, he did not know, and the 1,000 Blades Lord did not say that. End of this chapter. Chapter 3885. Fourth more. I want to kill him and you'll know right away. Chen Blade Devil chuckled. He'll let the Blood Rain demon who controlled the formation first show respect. Blood Rain. 1,000 Blade Lord shouted aloud. Blood Rain demon's figure immediately emerged from the formation. 1,000 Blades, the 1,000 slave monarch next to you is famous. Shuyu Mozen smiled. Blood Rain demon, it is rumored that you are good at matrix formation, and simply discussing the method of formation, few people in the entire demon dragon domain can match you, and finally saw you today. Thousands killed the emperor. He didn't dare to be arrogant. Although on strength he was slightly stronger than Blood Rain demon and 1,000 Blade demon lord, but not much. 1,000 Blade demon lord can fight with him directly, and the Blood Rain demon Zunare is so good that he has no fear at all. The three met after an embarrassing encounter with each other. Blood Rain, how is the Lord of the Blood Sword now? Asked the Master Chen Xian. Relax, he has been trapped in this array for the past 600 years, but he has never stepped out in one step. Shuyu Mozen laughed. That's all right. 1,000-age demon Lord Ishii has been trapped for 600 years, has he been impatient? This isn't true. Blood Rain demon shook his head. The Lord of the Blood Sword is very weird. He has been trapped in my formation for 600 years, but he is not in a hurry, and watching his actions over the years, it feels like you have been practicing. Cultivation. 1,000 Blade demon Lord froze. It's like practicing, but I do and know what it is. Blood Rain demon said. Haha, it seems that the Master of the Blood Sword has a really good mentality. He has been trapped in the formation for 600 years. He is not in a hurry and he has the mood to cultivate. 1,000 Blade Lord sneered, but yes, he did not have any fears of such a good means of life-saving, but he just hasn't seen the power of 1,000 killing emperors. 2. Still advanced formation, let me meet the people you want to kill. Thousands killed the emperor but said. Okay, let's get into the game first. 1,000 Blade Lord nodded. Blood Rain demon immediately opened the entrance of the formation, and the three entered the formation together. Immediately after entering the battle, the 1,000-edged demon lord immediately saw Jian Wushuang sitting in a certain place in the void, and surrounded by the sky full of black flames. Although he was pressing his eyes, he still shot at will, constantly attacking those black flames. Okay. The Emperor of the 1,000 Kills also noticed the sword unparalleled, but in this regard, his eyes were shrunk. Master of the rules? 1,000 blades, the person you want to kill is just a master of the rules? Ashamed, the Lord of the Blood Sword is indeed the Lord of the Rules. There is no doubt about this, but his combat power is very strong, and he can be comparable to the ordinary third-level master, but the real terrible thing is his life-saving means. Very well, Shiweiyu and I have already done everything we can, but there is nothing he can do about it. He can only let Shiweiyu arrange the array and he has been stuck here. Qian Blade Demon said. Is that so? Thousands of killing the Emperor knew, and did not mean a little bit to sacrifice 1,000 blades. He also understands that the ruler can live in eternal dark prison until now, and the means must be extraordinary. I now finally know why your 1,000 blades are so hesitant to ask me to kill him. The 1,000 killing Emperor glanced at Wu crying Excalibur in the hands of the sword, and his eyes flashed with strange colors. Apparently he had already seen there is no magic sword in both hands, even the rule of treasure. Well, the rule is the most precious sword. If you can get the rule to the most precious sword, its strength will inevitably increase. Maybe it can be comparable to the 10 kings. If I knew this already, the conditions I had proposed before should be higher. Thousands of emperors sighed softly. Thousands of kills, you and I have already said it. 1,000 Blade Master said. Don't worry, I haven't set a price for the 1,000 kills. Since I have promised you before, naturally I won't regret it. The 1,000 killing emperor smiled slightly. You and the two will be next to see how I kill him. Then I will wait and see with the rain of blood. The Master Chen also smiled. When the 3 men of the 1,000 Blades Lord, the 1,000 Killing Lord, and the Blood Rain Demon entered the formation, Jian Wushuang naturally immediately noticed the arrival of the 3, and immediately stopped the movements in his hands and looked up at the 3. Come over. Are you finally inviting a helper? Jian Wushuang chuckled at the Master Chen with a smirk, and then his eyes were concentrated on the middle-aged 1,000-slave monarch of Wei Yin. I don't know who this is. Lord of the Blood Sword, I'll introduce it to you. This is the 1,000-kill monarch, and is recognized as the first strongest in the 87th Dark Zone. 1,000 kills of the Emperor? Jian Wushuang's expression moved, and his mind quickly recalled the information of the strongmen obtained from the ancient Night Demon King. However, among the information given by the ancient Night Demon King, there is obviously no such thing as a 1,000-slave monarch. But it's also normal. Guyi Mo Jun is just a master of the second-level peak. In the first layer of this eternal dark prison, he cannot be regarded as the top powerhouse. Some of the power he knows, most of his information is in the 9th Dark Zone. As for the entire dragon domain, although he also knows the existence of some strong ones, he does not know many. For example, now that the 1,000-slave monarch, the ancient Night Demon Prince, did not know. The 87th Dark Zone? Jian Wushuang couldn't help sighing. 108 dark areas of the Demon Dragon Realm, each dark area has a very wide territory. From the 9th dark area to the 87th dark area, I don't know how far apart, you have 1,000 blades. The demon did not hesitate to personally go to the 87th dark area to invite the 1,000-slave monarch, and it seemed very confident that he could kill me. The power of the 1,000-slaying emperor can be ranked in the top 10 in the entire dragon domain, and his strongest means is even more overwhelming. If he can't kill you, it will be in the first floor of the entire eternal dark prison. It is estimated that only the Xion's top 10 kings can do anything to you. Whatever you say, it's just a ruler. I do indeed believe in your life-saving means. It's really like that. Cool. Thousands of emperors, please do it. A majestic killing intention rose instantly from the 1,000-slave monarch. The intensity of this killing is truly shocking. Even when the Chen demon cast his penalty sword, the burst of killing that came out was not as powerful as that of Chen himself. The 1,000-slaying monarch, in the name of the 1,000-slaying, is just as shocking as the killing intention on his body. I really want to know, how many people have he killed in this eternal dark prison? Jian Wu's eyes narrowed slightly. The look has become extremely solemn. End of this chapter. Chapter 3886. Fifth more. Thousands of killing emperors took out their own magic soldiers. His magical soldier is a big axe. This axe exudes a sense of coldness and majesty, and it is the strongest treasure of a superb level. With a simple step by the 1,000-slave monarch, the axe in his hand slashed down. First axe. Thousands of emperors uttered a low drink. The axe swept out suddenly, and in the blink of an eye it turned into a towering axe shadow that could open up the world. This axe shadow was bloody, with an endless murderous power, and suddenly cut off. It's a terrible power. This power alone is afraid that it is not weaker than the punishment sword of the thousand-edged demon's full force. The sword has no two-sided dignity, and with the wave of the Wu weapon sword in its hand, it rolls up the power of surging earth rules. In a blink of an eye, a heavy guardian sword area was formed before the sword had no double sides. Like the sword art that resisted the master of the thousand blades at the time, this earth guards the sword domain for 51. The axe slammed in and a heavy impact sounded from the earth guardian sword field. 41 major sword areas collapsed, 43 directly, but there are still 8 remaining. Thousands of emperors stared for a moment. Thousands of slaying lords. The blood sword master's body swordsmanship is extremely good. Before I tried my best to perform my strongest sword art, blood sky sword, I could not break his body sword art directly, and your first axe, I'm afraid that Wei Ning is a little worse than my sky sword. It is impossible to break his body sword skill by this trick alone. Qian Blade Lord said beside him. Is the sword guarding? I'd like to see how strong his sword guarding is. The light of the Emperor of the Thousand Kills flickered, but his steps stepped out again. Second axe, boom. The world was shaken and a shocking assault on the sky burst into the sky. The Emperor of the Thousand Kills simultaneously raised the axe in his hands, and 2 huge axe shadows appeared at the same time in the void above. The 2 axe shadow powers were not under the first axe just now. But at this moment, these 2 huge axe shadows were directly merged together. In a short time, a more terrifying, more majestic scarlet axe formed. The thunderous axe. The axe shadow is mighty, once again chopped down towards the sword. This axe is stronger than the one just before. I am afraid that it is not weaker than the sword with the strongest sword. The sword of blood Tianjin is secretly weak. Jian Wushuang secretly sighed, guarding the sword area in front of the 51 major agglomeration again. Forming. In the blink of an eye, the 2 blood-colored axe shadows were fused together to form a stronger blood-colored axe shadow, and they were directly bombarded on the Earth Guardian Sword domain. This time the Earth Guardian Sword domain ushered in an unprecedented shock. The 51st major sword area collapsed 49 times in an instant. Even the 51st major sword area collapsed, but in the final 51st major sword area, it was able to withstand that. The power of the axe shadow will eventually be resisted by the axe shadow. Haha, my second axe can't even completely break this bodyguard sword art. This bodyguard sword art is indeed good. In this case then look at my third axe. The 1,000-killing emperor laughed and made another step. The giant axe was raised in his hand, this time above the void, and 3 axe shadows condensed at the same time. The 3 blood-stained axe images were fused together at an alarming speed immediately after the formation, and a devastating atmosphere spread instantly. Third axe. Thousands of slaying emperors shouted, this axe is like star-cutting and moon-cutting, carrying more terrifying power than the second axe just now. This axe is a few points stronger than the second axe just now. For my 51 major sword area alone, I'm afraid it will be difficult to resist it. It seems to depend on my new means. Jian Wushuang smiling, with a big wave of his hand, Wu Cry Excalibur swept a special trajectory in the void. Suddenly, the power of a large number of earth rules rose. The power of these earth rules, with the majestic origins of Kendo universe, also began to condense, but this condensing process was clearly different from the previous earth sword area. An endless stream of moods permeated, and the same heavy sword area began to condense, but these earth sword areas overlapped in a special way, forming a heavy sword formation. This is the experience of Jian Wushuang in the formation of the Blood Rain Demon Zun for 600 years, researching and improving the Land Guardian Sword Array by himself. This sword array is based on the Guardian of the Earth, and the power of the formation is added. Of course, the understanding of the sword pairing method is not too high. This sword array can only be regarded as ordinary, but it is still enough to allow the original Guardian of the Sword. On the body power, be strong. Moreover, after 600 years of enlightenment, Jian Wushuang has not made any progress in protecting the Sword of the Earth. Although he has only condensed 51 major ground sword domains, in fact, he can already consolidate 52 major territorial swords. Now, the Earth Guardian Sword formation formed by the consolidation of the 52 major sword regions has already taken shape. 600 years of enlightenment, perfecting and improving the Earth Guardian Sword Array, and talking about the ability to protect the body, it is nearly twice as strong as the Earth Guardian Sword that was only 51 major land sword areas before. I do and know the 1,000 kills. The third axe of the Emperor, can I defeat my sword array? Jian Wu's eyes also looked with a touch of expectation. Finally, the third axe of the thousand-slayed monarch collided with his guardian sword formation. At this moment, Jian Wushuang immediately felt a tremendous impact. He rammed on the sword array, and the entire sword array was shaking, trembling as if trembling. And the 52 major territories of the sword area also collapsed in a moment. But the biggest difference between sword formation and sword art is the repairability of formation. At the same time, when the earth sword area suffered a bombardment and collapse, the entire sword formation was also constantly repairing the heavy land sword area, which swept the power of the axe shadow, and it was not easy to relax before. Finally, the power of the third axe was completely exhausted, and the huge axe disappeared out of thin air. And the sword unparalleled earth guards the sword formation. Although it has suffered unprecedented damage, the entire sword formation has shattered 89 times. The 52 major land sword areas have collapsed to a level of 51, but it is still worthy of this. The power of an axe resisted. Actually was blocked? Thousand-Blade Lord was terrified. The third axe of Thousand-Slayed Emperor is more powerful than my blood and sky sword, but it failed to defeat his protection. Body swordsmanship? The body swordsman of the blood sword master seems to be stronger than before? End of this chapter. Chapter 3887. 6 more arrived today. It's stronger. The blood rain demon also Zheng had. I can see that his body sword contains the formation. Although the formation is relatively immature, and can be combined with his sword skills, it is still a large increase in defensibility. This blood the Lord of Swords has been trapped in my formation for a full 600 years. I have never understood what he was doing for these 600 years, but now I understand. He is perfecting his sword with the help of my formation, and by now he has achieved some success. Aberrations just 600 years or in eternal dark prison and other places, his sword skills can be improved? Thousand-Blade Demon eyes cold and terrible. As for the Thousand-Killing Emperor, he laughed at the moment. No wonder the Thousand-Blade Demon Lord has nothing to do with you. I can only go to the 87th dark space to invite me. You bodyguard swordsmanship is true, even in the entire first level of eternal dark prison, it can be called a must. However, this is more interesting, and it also reflects the value of the Thousand-Blade Lord who paid me such a large price. Thousands of lords, this blood sword lord's body sword array is very good, but it definitely can't stop your fourth axe. Thousand-Blade Demon said, but he has seen the Thousand-Kill Lord cast his first 4 axes. That power is truly earth-shaking. My fourth axe is based on the original third axe. The power is more than double that of the third axe. No matter how strong the sword of the blood sword is, it is bound to resist, but this fourth axe is not easy to cast. Now, in order to justify the benefits you give, it can only be cast. The Thousand-Killing Emperor smiled lightly, but suddenly his hands had become a blood red. All he saw was naked. The fourth axe. I saw a Thousand-Killing Emperor gnashing his teeth and violently yelling, and the blood axe was raised again in his hand. Above the void, at the same time there are 4 huge axe shadows condensed, and fused together at the fastest speed. Banging. The giant axe stunned. Suddenly the whole world was dim. The world is dark, without a ray of light, and in the darkness of the sky, there are only the thousand-slaying monarch and the huge axe he sways. Jian Wushuang stood directly in front of the Qiansha Emperor, and realized that the power of the axe that the Qiansha Emperor was wielding at that moment could not be shaken by his heart. It's a terrible power, and before it approaches, give me a feeling that I can't resist. This axe is more terrible than the previous 3 axes. Jian Wu flashed in his eyes but followed with a big laugh. Haha, wanna break my body sword array, then come. Jian Wushuang did not have the slightest fear, and his divine power burst to the extreme. The sky's earthly rules were permeated in an instant, and with the rich origin of the Kendo universe, in the blink of an eye, a full 52 major guardian sword area was formed in front of them. The 12 major guardian sword domains overlapped in a special way, forming the guardian sword field of the earth. At this moment, the sword unparalleled, used his body protection means to the extreme, to meet the fourth axe of the thousand-slaying monarch. Finally, the great axe in the endless darkness came. The violent roar continued to sound. Almost instantaneously, the sword guardian earth guardian sword array burst more than half. The heavy guardian sword army collapsed one after another, but under the blessing of the power of the formation, it was recovering as much as possible. However, the fourth axe of the thousand-killed monarch, as the most terrible killing trick and card of the thousand-killed monarch, The thousand-edged demon had bluntly said that the power of this axe can definitely be compared with that of the 10 strong kings. This is by no means nonsense. The strongest fourth axe of the 1,000 monarchs' all-out effort, which is based on attack power alone, is indeed not weaker than those 10 kings. And this axe contains more than twice as much horror power as the third axe. The third axe, Jian Wushuang, relied on the earth to guard the sword array, which was more difficult to resist. Now in this fourth axe next, although the Earth Guardian sword formation was desperately supporting it, it only supported it for only a moment. Boom! With a loud noise, the entire sword array completely collapsed. 52 major Guardian sword territory, all shattered. Jian Wushuang's strongest body protection sword art was defeated by the front. Broken. Can't you stop it? The next 1,000-blade monster master and blood rain demon respect this, their eyes are all bright. The Earth Guardian sword array failed to block the fourth axe, but it also greatly weakened the power of the fourth axe. The remaining power of the fourth axe directly hit the sword's unparalleled body, and passed the Yujin demon armor. Weakened again but still had a lot of mighty impact on Jian Wushuang. Suddenly, humph! Jian Wushuang gave a cold snoring, and a little blood spilled from the corners of his mouth. His shape suddenly burst out, and he exploded directly to the very edge of the formation, only to stand firm again. He stood there, staring hard at the 1,000 monarch, but with a dignity like never before. Injured? Am I hurt? Jian Wushuang felt his own body. Under the bombardment of the axe, he was indeed injured and lost a lot of divine power. It should be known that since he created the sword of the Earth Guard, no matter who he fights with, he has faced it head-on. He has never been injured by this trick because almost no one can break open his Earth Guard. Swordplay, not to mention he also has the Yujin demon armor, the strongest armor of the treasure warframe, and his own body is comparable to the most precious supernatural beings because he has cultivated the supreme immortal. Under these and other conditions he was still injured, and the power of the axe that Emperor killed had just imagined. Jian Wushuang was just shocked that he would be injured, but the 3,000 masters, the 1,000 blades demon master, and the blood rain demon standing in front of him were all a little dazed. What's the matter? It doesn't matter if he doesn't die, but why the breath on his body hasn't weakened much. I just had that axe, hasn't he been able to wreck him? Thousands of emperors frowned. The breath on his body has weakened a little, but it has weakened very little. Obviously the damage that the axe just killed the emperor has not cost him much, the blood rain demon also solemnly said. How is that possible? How can this be? 1,000-blade demon lord was furious. The strongest axe of the 1,000-slaying emperor is comparable in power to the 10 strongest kings. Facing such an attack, how could he be so lightly injured? Jian Wushuang was injured. This is a fact, even blood spilled from the corners of his mouth. But Jian Wushuang's breath has not weakened much, it is clear that he was not injured. Chapter 3888. The first is more. The strongest axe of the 1,000-slaying emperor is really good. I have been enlightened in this array for 600 years. The improved sword guarding of the earth, I have asked myself that my body protection ability is superb, but I can't bear the 1,000-slaying emperor. This axe, but I do know how many times can you cast the strongest axe? Jian Wushuang looked at it with a playful smile. Thousands of kills. 1,000-blade demon lord also immediately looked at Chenshou emperor. Thousands of killing emperors look dull. 1,000 blades, I tell you the truth, I am the strongest axe and it is not easy to cast. Each time I cast it is a great burden on me. Even if I ignore everything, it can only be performed 5 times, and it has to fight hard and be unable to restore its peak strength at the cost of a short period of time. But you can see the injuries he suffered. It doesn't matter at all. Even if I show the strongest axe 5 times in a row, I am afraid that my divine power is less than 10%. I can't help killing him. Thousands of emperors do not want to make a second attempt. It was normal. At a glance, Jian Wushuang saw that the injuries he had suffered under the axe just now were very light, and there was no harm at all. Such an attack, let alone just 5 times, even if it comes 50 times, it may not be able to be killed. But his strongest axe, 5 times in a row, he was afraid to lose half his life 50 times? It was impossible. It's too perverted. The Blood Sword Lord's life-saving ability is simply incredible. Not only does he have such a good sword skill, but he is also a perfect practitioner of life. His power is magnificent, and I estimate his own deities must have practiced some special refining secrets, and they are equally powerful. These are all added together, and I want to kill him, I'm afraid that the top 10 kings can't do it himself. Blood Rain Demon exclaimed aside. Is it true that you can kill him only if you ask the top 10 kings? Thousand Blade Demon Lord was also desperate at the moment. To invite the 10 kings? Yes, if one of the top 10 kings took the shot himself, it might indeed be possible to kill the Lord of the Blood Sword in front of him. After all, the strongest axe of the 1,000-slaying monarch, although it is comparable to the 10 kings in attack power, but the shortcomings are also obvious, that is, it cannot be cast continuously, even if it is desperate, it can only be cast 5 times. However, the 10 kings are different. Their random attack methods are better than the strongest axe for killing the Emperor, which means that their normal attack methods can hurt the Bloodsword Master, and that is normal. As a means of attack, the top 10 kings can completely attack many times. Even if the top 10 kings show their whole cards or some powerful killing tricks, they can completely wreck the Lord of the Blood Sword, and they are sure to kill them. But the key question is, can the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord move the 10 kings? In the first level of the Eternal Dark Prison, the 10 most powerful kings are high above him. Even if he takes out all his net worth, he may not be able to ask the Thousand-Edged Demon Master to take a shot. Even if he was lucky enough to invite a king, if the king knew that the Lord of the Blood Sword had the rule of the precious sword, I am afraid that he would like to take possession of it for the first time. The rule of the most precious sword, even if the king is not good at kendo, but the value of the rule of the most precious sword is far more than the price that can be given by the Lord of the Thousand Blades. In addition, there are already 10 kings in the Eternal Dark Prison. These 10 kings are also fighting with each other, but no one can help others. This has formed a balance which has been the case for a long time. And once the Thousand-Blade Demon Lord has obtained the Law Sword of Supreme Treasure, it is entirely possible to become a new king, and then the balance of the first layer of the entire Eternal Dark Prison will be completely broken. Knowing this, the 10 great kings will help the Lord of the Thousand Blades to win the magical Sword of the Sword without hands? Thousand-Blade Demon Master has a lot of thoughts in his mind, and his heart is extremely complicated. He never expected that the ruler of every rule would be so difficult. He paid a great price to invite the Emperor to kill the Emperor, but in the end, there was no way to take the other party. Obviously the rule of the most precious sword is in the hands of the Lord of the Blood Sword, but he cannot take it from the opponent. Obviously there is an opportunity to become a king, but he can only watch but not get it. Thousand Blades, give up, you can't ask the king to shoot, but you also have to admit that you can't kill the Lord of the Blood Sword. Blood Rain Demon persuades. Well, you are destined to miss the precious sword with this rule, but if you are not willing, you can run again to find the Dragon Lord and inform the demon that the owner of the Blood Sword has the rule of precious sword. Dragon Lord, Dragon Lord, although it's impossible to give you that rule of the most precious sword, but more or less it will give you some benefits as a reward, you can be considered to make up for some losses. Thousands Killed the Emperor also said. Both of them understood that the Lord of the Thousand Blades paid a huge price this time to ask the two of them to come and help each other. However, they still couldn't get the rule of the Bloodsword Master. Not reconciled, but the fact is in front of them, they really have no way to take the Lord of the Blood Sword. Now they can only persuade Thousand Blades Lord to stop. Thousand Blade Demon Lord looked extremely gloomy. Hearing the words of the two, he was silent and did not speak. At this moment, Jianghu, who was at the center of the formation, slowly approached the three. Why 3 are you going to stop? Jianghu stood in front of these 3 strong men, with a playful smile on his face. The Lord of the Blood Sword, you are powerful enough. Even the strongest axe of the 1,000-slave monarch is only barely hurting you. You have the ability to protect your body. The entire first level of Eternal Dark Prison, as long as the 10 kings do not out, you stand invincible. The 3 of me really have no way to take you, at best can only be stuck with you. Blood Rain Demon said. Then I've been stuck and then continue to look for stronger people or simply find more people such as a strong man like 1,000 killing emperor, and then find 2 or 3 more if they join forces maybe can kill me. Jianghu smiled. The Lord of the Blades could not help looking up. If 2 or 3 other powerful men comparable to the 1,000 kill monarchs are invited to join forces. Do think I do know you want me to continue to trap you with the Matrix method, and you can continue to improve your swordsmanship with my Matrix method. Judging by your 600-year progress, if you give you enough time and your body sword skill will become more intensive. At that time, if you are afraid that the king will come in person, there is nothing you can do. Even if the master of the 1,000 Blades really invites some more powerful people, I'm afraid that the same can't help you, but he will pay more for himself. Blood Rain Demon hummed coldly. End of this chapter. Chapter 38-89. The second is even more. The words of Demon of Blood Rain made the shimmer of hope that had just risen from the Blade Lord once again, and it was extinguished again. Indeed, judging from the relaxed appearance of the Lord of the Blood Sword in front of him, it is clear that there is no fear, or even hope that he will go elsewhere to invite the strong, and then let the Blood Rain Demon continue to maintain this formation, and the Lord of the Blood Sword can continue to fully improve his sword skills through this formation. Just 600 years before, the swordsmanship of the Lord of the Blood Sword has improved greatly. If he is given another 600 years or more, who knows what level his swordsmanship will reach. The Qianbian demon mainly invited those strong ones one by one. The price paid for each strong one is not small. Like asking the emperor to kill the emperor, the price he paid is extremely great. The powerful who killed the emperor, his entire net worth has been emptied and may not be available. At that time, if he really invited the strong ones desperately, but still couldn't help the Lord of the Blood Sword, then he would really lose out. Thousand Blades, you should listen to the 1,000-killing monarch now and go to the Lord of the Dragons so that you can make up for some losses as much as possible. As for the rule of the precious sword, you don't have to think about it. 1,000-Blade Devil's eyes flashed thick and unwilling, but after all, he was a strong man who had wandered in this eternal dark prison for so many years. He quickly calmed down and said, "This rule is the most precious sword I do know, but the Lord Dragon is not a good bird. I would rather lose a lot of money than go for cheap." Oh. Blood Rain Demon looked at the master of the 1,000 Blades and nodded slightly. "Since you choose this way, then it's up to you, and am withdrawing." "Withdraw." The master of the 1,000 Blades looked helpless. The Blood Rain Demon immediately waved his hand, and a special force pervaded. It had always existed in the surrounding void. The 600-year-old Mo Dafa who had been trapped by Jian Wushuang slowly dissipated. "The formation is withdrawn? Are you really going to stop?" Jian Wushuang frowned. He really hopes that the Blood Rain Demon can continue to maintain this array so that he can continue to enlighten and continue to improve his sword skills. But none of the three in front of the eyes had this patience. "The Lord of the Blood Sword, this time, you are terrific, let's go." The Qian Blade Demon took a deep look at Jian Wushuang and turned to leave. The Blood Rain Demon and the 1,000-killing Emperor also both stared at Jian Wushuang for a long time. Obviously they had all remembered the ruler. The three of them knew that Jian Wushuang could not win the sword and had already planned to leave, but Jian Wushuang was now unwilling. "Three people, wait, don't rush away," Jian Wushuang said suddenly and stopped the three. All three dominators turned around. "The Lord of the Blood Sword, I've decided to let you go, what else do you want?" 1,000-Blade Demon's eyes filled with anger, staring at the sword unparalleled. He had suffered a big loss in the hands of the Dragon Lord, so this time he would rather have suffered a lot of losses, and he did not intend to make the Dragon Lord cheap. But similarly he hated Jian Wushuang very much. He hated Jian Wushuang and did not hand over that rule to the treasure sword, and his body protection ability was so arrogant. Now he has decided to leave, but the Lord of the Blood Sword is not satisfied? "I do and know how to be so good, do you think you are so patient?" "Haha, the three are going to let me go, but I don't necessarily want to let go of three." Jian Wushuang laughed. "Three, look first, something in my hand." After Jian Wushuang finished speaking, he turned over and took out something. What did he come up with? 1,000-Blade Demon Masters, Blood Rain Demon Lords, and 1,000 Slave Monarchs all immediately looked at what was taken out of Jian Wu's hands. At this point the three were truly shocked. A disciple's token is a disciple's token from Hongyun's veins. In his hands there is a disciple of Hongyun Imai. Is he a disciple of Hongyun? "It's over, run away." The 1,000 Slave Monarch hissed for the first time, and his voice was hysterical. These three powerful men all have hundreds of times of chaos in this eternal dark prison. According to the truth, all kinds of risks have been encountered. Even if they are facing the 10 kings, although they are nervous, they will not be too much. Fear, after all, the strength reaches their level. Even if the top 10 kings want to kill them, it is not so easy. But now, when they saw the disciples' tokens of the red clouds that Jian Wushuang took out, they had unprecedented fear. This terror has not appeared for hundreds of times of chaos. The three did not hesitate to immediately use their strongest means of life-saving to flee, apparently holding the idea that they could escape. However, Jian Wushuang deliberately approached the three of them before, just to prepare for this moment. The three masters were too close to Jian Wushuang. Even if they saw the token in his hand, they reacted instantly and then fled, but they burst out instantly. The distance is still within the controllable range of Jian Wushuang. I saw Jian Wushuang's thoughts move, directly mobilizing the power of the eternal dark prison. Banging. The majestic power is crushed relentlessly. This power is in the eternal dark prison, which is absolutely supreme and no one can compete with it. Mighty power acted on the fleeing three masters at the same time. The body of these three masters immediately stopped, and then the whole person was pressed to the ground below, being restrained by the oppressive power of the French array and unable to move at all. Thousand Blades, you hurt me. You hurt me. Blood Rain Demon screamed frantically. Qiande, you invited me here to deal with Hangyun's disciples? Asshole, I've been miserable by you. Thousands of slaying emperors also roared and burst into tears. At the moment, the two of them hate the Lord of the Thousand Blades. Because of this incident, they were originally invited by the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord. They thought they were only dealing with a ruler who had more powerful means, but did not expect that the other party had an amazing identity, that is, a disciple of Hangyun. Eternal Dark Prison was originally created by Hangyun Imai. Disciples of Hangyun Imai have the supreme right in Hangyun Imai. Although their strength is stronger than the mane of the Blood Sword, in the Eternal Dark Prison, the Blood Sword Master can easily use the power of the array to suppress them. Like now, they are suppressed by the other side, they can't move, and the life and death are completely controlled by the other side. He turned out to be a disciple of Hangyun? Thousand Blade Demon Lord also had a dreadlock in his head at this moment. Obviously he hadn't fully recovered yet. Hearing the sound of resentment between Blood Rain Demon and the Thousand-Killing Emperor, he also growled immediately, I don't know him. If I knew who I was, how could it be so stupid to come against him? Chapter 3890? Third More. Thousand Blade Lord is bitter now. He really didn't know the true identity of Jian Wushuang. He didn't know that Jian Wushuang was a disciple of Hangyun. If he had known it earlier, how dare he dare to fight the sword without hands and the idea of the most precious sword. Not to mention him, even if he had just invited the Dragon Lord and really invited the Dragon Lord in the face of the Blood Sword Lord, it was pure death. Jian Wushuang's figure has come to the three masters. The three masters were oppressed by the power of the French array, their bodies were unable to move, and they could only barely look up at Jian Wushuang. Thousand Blade Demon Lord, Blood Rain Demon, and Thousand Killing Emperor. Jian Wushuang looked down at the three men with a smile. Can you three still want to kill me now? Hearing these words, all three masters were very angry. Blood Rain Demon said, The Lord of the Blood Sword, the three of me did not expect that you should be a disciple of Hangyun. No wonder you were so fearless from start to finish. It turned out to be this way. There are hundreds of chaos periods that have been to the Eternal Dark Prison. There are no new prisoners in these hundreds of chaos periods. It has been rumored in the Eternal Dark Prison that the veins of red clouds should have been completely destroyed. The Eternal Dark Prison has also been abandoned, but now it seems that this is not the case. There is nothing wrong with the rumor. Hangyun's pulse has indeed been destroyed. As for me, I just fortunately entered the Red Cloud realm and passed the test before I can become a disciple of Hangyun's pulse. Jian Wushuangdo. Is that so? The three masters all knew. Thousand Blade Masters, in fact I just hope you can invite some other strong men to come, and then let Blood Rain Demon continue to trap me with that array, so not only can I continue to study and improve my sword skills, but the more powerful you invite, the more I will suppress. Jian Wushuang smiled. Thousand Blades Lord looked terribly and did not speak. Well three, now it's your turn to surrender or surrender. The sword's double-sided appearance became cold. All three dominated the look. From the moment sword warriors used the array power, they did not kill the three of them in the first place. Just when they were suppressed, they guessed that the Lord of the Blood Sword did not want to kill them directly. Death now it seems is indeed the case. Lord of the Blood Sword, if we choose to surrender, what do we need to pay? Blood Rain Demon asked. It's very simple, as long as you give up your soul defense and let me leave a mark on your soul origin, of course as a condition, I will take you out of this eternal dark prison and return to the universe. In addition, I can now treat the universe. The law swears that as long as you surrender to me at most 100,000 years, I will lift my soul and set you free. Jian Wushuang said directly. 100,000 years? Oath to the laws of the universe. The eyes of Blood Rain Demon and Thousand Killing Monarchs were both on. For hundreds of thousands of years, for those prisoners who have been trapped in the eternal dark prison for hundreds of chaotic times and never see the sky for life, it is too short, almost fleeting. At this point they didn't care. What they care about is the imprint of the soul. Once you give up resistance, let Jian Wushuang leave a mark on their soul origin, but life and death are between each other's thoughts. This feeling of being controlled by each other's life and death will make people unacceptable, but only for 100,000 years, but it was worth their consideration. What's more, Jian Wushuang also added a point, which is to swear on the law of the universe. It must be noted that the law of the universe is paramount, and that is the law of the universe in the midst of meditation. Jian Wushuang himself understands a bit of the law of the universe. If it is nothing ordinary vows, it does not matter if he does not follow. You can swear on the law of the universe. Once this vow is made, it will resonate with the law of the universe. If you fail to abide by the vow, the law of the universe will not reduce punishment. Affected by some intangible effects, thereby slowing down the speed of understanding, or being hindered by various obstacles, etc. This kind of thing is definitely impossible to accept for a super genius who has a rule level like Jian Wushuang, who can comprehend a trace of the laws of the universe. Therefore they are not worried that Jian Wushuang will not keep his promise. 3. I will only give you a rest, you think carefully. Jian Wushuang said indifferently. No need to think about it, I am willing to surrender. Blood Rain Demon directly said. I am willing too, said the Thousand-Slave Monarch. Followed by the two of them at the same time looked at the Master of the Thousand Blades. At this moment, the Master of the Thousand Blades was gloomy and terrible. He stared at Jian Wushuang but sneered, The Lord of the Blood Sword, I admit that you are good at it, but you want me to surrender and even obey the soul, being a dog beside you is dreaming. Thousand Blades, who knows current affairs as Junjia. It is only 100,000 years, which is better than losing his life. The Thousand Emperor next to him advised. Yes, not to mention that the Lord of the Blood Sword is a peerless demon. Not only did he realize a trace of the law of the universe at the level of the rule, he is also a perfect practitioner of life. Such a gift will definitely become the universe super-existence. It is not difficult to ask the Supreme Master, I waited to submit to him, it is not a shame. Blood Rain Demon said. I have been imprisoned in the eternal dark prison for hundreds of times, and I haven't taken my life seriously for a long time. I'm not like to. I'm greedy for fear of death. Lord of the Rules, I die easily. I want to surrender, but I do think about it. As soon as the voice of the Chen Blade Demon fell, his face was immediately distorted, his eyes were crazy and decisive. Is the soul burning again? Jian Wushuang looked at it calmly. Blood Rain Demon and Thousand Kill Monarchs did not persuade. They all noticed the determination of the Thousand Blade Demon Lord, and his soul had begun to burn and he couldn't stop. In the end, under the watchful eye of the three swordsmen, Blood Rain Demon and Thousand Kill Monarch, the breath of the Thousand Blade Demon Lord gradually weakened, and eventually he died completely. After his death, his body armor and Chengquan ring were all taken away by Jian Wushuang. After following the sword, there were no two sides before they looked at the Blood Rain Demon and the Thousand Kill Monarch. You too, don't resist. The Blood Rain Demon and the Thousand Killing Emperor are naturally honest, and let the power of the soul of Jian Wushuang enter their sea of knowledge, and soon they leave a mark in their soul origin. After doing all this, the two sides of the sword untied the two people. Get up. Jian Wushuang said flatly. Blood Rain Demon stood up with Chensha Emperor. The two looked at each other and immediately bowed to salute. Blood Rain, Thousand Kills, meet the Master. 3 Heads M. Chapter 3891. Fourth More. Get up. Jian Wushuang waved his hand and looked at the two men who were extremely respectful in front of him, and a smile appeared on his face. This time he came to Eternal Dark Prison, one of which was to improve his strength through experience, and the other was to conquer some of the strong in Eternal Dark Prison, and to fight for Taichu Divine Realm. At first, the first prisoner he encountered when he came to Eternal Dark Prison was the Master of the Wing. He also tried to conquer, but the other side directly burned the soul and would rather die. This caused a great blow to Jian Wushuang. Experience did not mobilize the power of the French array. Until now, in the face of the three top powerhouses, the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord, the Blood Rain Demon Lord, and the Thousand-Killed Monarch, he has again mobilized the French array to suppress the three, and with the last lesson, he took the initiative oath to the law of the universe, to make the other party believe that they will not regret later, and sure enough, both the Blood Rain Demon and the Thousand-Killing Emperor chose to submit to themselves. And these two masters are the top existence in this eternal dark prison. Like 1,000 killing emperors, the power of combat is estimated to be second only to those 10 kings. Blood Rain Demon, although not as powerful as 1,000 killing emperor, but his accomplishments against the method are extremely high, and now he needs this Blood Rain Demon's formation to perfect and improve his sword array. These two slaves have many uses for themselves. This is a place of right and wrong. Let's go find a quiet place and talk about it in detail. Jian Wushuang opened his mouth. Yes. Blood Rain Demon nodded with 1,000 killed monarchs. Half a day later, the three opened a cave house in an unmanned mountain. Inside the cave, Jian Wushuang sat on the stone bench, while Shuyu Mozan and Qianshou Emperor stood respectfully in front of Jian Wushuang. They have surrendered to Jian Wushuang, and even the soul of the soul has a trace of branding on them. All life and death are controlled by Jian Wushuang, and they have become slaves. And as a slave you naturally have to be a slave. 1,000 kills and blood rain, take out your hands except the strongest treasure you use. Jian Wushuang commanded. The Blood Rain Demon and the 1,000-kill Emperor knew each other without hesitation. With a wave of their hands, they immediately had the densest and most powerful treasure in front of Jian Wushuang. So many? Jian Wushuang looked at the many strongest treasures in front of him, secretly shocked. These are the most powerful treasures? I'm afraid there must be hundreds of them? However, Jian Wushuang soon understood it. After all, the wing master he killed at the beginning was just a master of the second highest peak, but he also had dozens of the strongest treasures, and the Blood Rain Demon and 1,000 Kills Emperor, I do and know how much better than the Master of CE. They have been in the eternal prison for so many years. Of course, there are more powerful men who beheaded than the Master of CE. In the outer star field, countless strong people will go crazy for a common strongest treasure, but in this eternal dark prison, this general strongest treasure is really flooding. Jian Wushuang shook his head. For the strongest treasure of this ordinary level, he now completely does not care. What he cares about now must be the strongest treasure of the highest level. Now, there are more than 20 pieces of the most powerful treasures from the Blood Rain Demon and the 1,000-kill Emperor. Jian Wushuang searched one by one and soon he locked one of them. The battle armor, named Bingmo Xinjia, contains extremely powerful power, far above the Wujin Demon armor worn by Jian Wushuang. The Wujin Demon Dragon armor is just the strongest arcana at the ordinary level. Compared with the strongest arcana at the highest level, the difference is not a little bit. Jian Wushuang smiled. I want this ice soul armor. As for the other strongest treasures, you take them back first. Master doesn't want other treasures? Blood Rain Demon was surprised. These treasures are of no use to me for the time being, except for the soul apparition. Jian Wushuang shook his head. The Blood Rain Demon nodded, and immediately reclaimed their respective treasures with the 1,000-killing Emperor, leaving only the soul apparition. This apparition god armor is the most powerful arcana warframe at the highest level, and it is extremely powerful. None of the many arcana warframes I have obtained before is comparable to this apparition warframe, or even the apparition warframe itself was also given to me by the 1,000-edged demon lord in order to ask me for a shot. Blood Rain Demon said. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. There are indeed many treasures in the hands of the Blood Rain Demon, 1,000 Blade Masters and 1,000 Killing Monarchs, but there are fewer of them at the highest level, and even the strongest treasure at the highest level is also most of them are attacking magic soldiers, such as Arcane Warframe or other types, and they are even rarer. Among the many treasures they have just released, the Bingo armor is indeed the one with the highest level. As for the 1,000-Blade Demon Lord, this time in order to invite the Blood Rain Demon to fight with the 1,000-killed Emperor, it cost a huge price. Most of the strongest treasures in his hands reached the highest level, and most of them have been given out. There is not much left in itself. Before Jian Wushuang got the Chengkuan Ring of Chendao Demon Lord, he also checked it and found nothing worthy of his care. Thousands of kills? You should have a special spar with a higher level on your body. Take it out to me. Jian Wushuang do. Special spar? Thousands of killing the Emperor stunned? I have killed many unknown powers in my hands during the Eternal Dark Prison. I have obtained a variety of resource treasures from these strong, including those special crystals. There are many stones, but I only know a part of these crystals and I don't know the specific level of these crystals. So, I will take out all the crystals and find them yourself. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. The Emperor of Thousands of Kills will put all the special crystals in his hands in one Chengkuan ring and hand it to Jian Wushuang. After Jian Wushuang took the Chengkuan ring, his consciousness swept away, and he immediately saw a large number of special crystals piled up in the mountains. There are too many of these special crystals, and not only are they in large numbers, there are thousands of different kinds, and these thousands of special crystal swords are unparalleled. Fortunately, there were people he knew. Magic Flame, which of these spar is the one that makes you feel good? Jian Wushuang asked. The reason why he wanted the thousand-slaying monarch to take out all the special spar is because the magic flame soul body in the blood-colored gourd felt that the thousand-slaying lord had a very high-level special spar. The magic flame itself is a swallowing gold family, and has a strong ability to sense various spar. And the higher the level of the spar, the stronger his induction. Don't worry, you'll look for it. Moyen immediately looked for it among the spar piled up in the mountains. End of this chapter. Chapter 3892. Fifth more. After a while, the magic flame found a spar with a faint brown light among the thousands of spar. This spar is very ordinary to the naked eye, just like a stone on the ground, but when you see this spar, the magic flame is very excited. Jin Songjie stone, haha, it turned out to be Jade Songjie stone. The spirit body of the magic flame laughed directly inside the gourd. Jin Songjie stone? Jian Wushuang looked. Master, this golden Songjie stone is a very rare kind of special spar in the vast universe. It is produced from a powerful ethnic group in the universe, the Tsang clan. This Tsang clan is extremely powerful and has many ethnic groups, occupying a large area in the universe. The Jin Songjie stone is the essence of the Jin Song people's life. Generally, only the Jin Song people who have dominated the 4th level or above can condense and form a Jin Song boundary stone. This gold Songjie stone is also very versatile. It can be used for refining and alchemy, but it can also be used for cultivating mystery. In short, it is very precious. Of course, although this gold Songjie stone is precious, it is the same as the blood you receive from the owner. The iron is far worse than the iron, said Mo Yen. Jian Wushuang also understands that although the knife plate that he originally obtained contained little blood iron, only about 10 pounds, blood iron is one of the most precious spar in the vast universe. The heavy blood dries iron, even the supreme will be dazzled. And this Jin Songjie stone, as long as the 4th level dominates the level of Jin Song people can condense one, that is to say, there must be a lot of such crystals in the Jin Song tribe. Compared. Although this gold Songjie stone is not comparable to blood iron, if I can absorb it, the gold swallowing body that I have been shaping can be perfected, and my help to you will be greater. And if there are a dozen or so Jin Songjie stones, my gold swallowing body is expected to be perfected by 20%. By then, my soul body can be combined with the gold swallowing body, and some strength can be restored. The enemy, that is, if the Lord of the Demon Clouds comes here, I should be able to resist it, said Mo Yen. Jian Wushuang could not help but move. Demon Flame has surrendered to Jian Wushuang. It has been a long time. During this period of time, it was also sincere and diligent, and he already knew some things about Jian Wushuang. For example, the importance of Jian Wushuang relative to the Taichu Divine Realm, as well as the Earth Demon Star of the Taichu Divine Realm, are all known. And Jian Wushuang also asked Moyen about the strength of the Magic Cloud Star Master. The Magic Flame originally answered like this: Master, the Demon Star Master is the master of the secondary astral world. In the vast universe, he can directly occupy a secondary astral world and become the master of this secondary astral world. Most of them are not weak and are generally dominated by the 4th series, even the peak of the 4th series and even the 5th series. Of course, the secondary astral field I mean here refers to the deeper part of the universe, or some of the large star domains in the universe. The master of the secondary astral field is this strength, but the owner of this star, the region, is in the most marginal zone of the universe. The level of the strong here is far from being comparable to some large regions in the depths of the universe. The demon star is not too far away from your starry region, it must be the marginal zone. The master of the 2nd level astral zone in the fringe zone is not as powerful as that. According to my estimation, the Demon Star Master is likely to be the 3rd level master, but after all his luck is against the sky, he even lost his house. In the early days, the kingdom of gods became the heavenly gods. With the help of the early days of gods, even if his qualifications are mediocre, his achievements will not be too low. In addition, he has been retreating all these years, and he deliberately accelerated the early times. The evolution is obviously preparing for his breakthrough. So, the Lord of the Cloud Star is likely to be at the peak of the 3rd series now, but once he goes out, it should have made a breakthrough and reached the 4th series. This is the magic speculation of the strength of the Lord of the Cloud Star. Before the flame was the master of the ultimate level, and went to the depths of the universe, his insight is far beyond his ability to compare. Jian Wushuang believes that Mo Yan's speculation on the strength of Mo Yunqing is credible. Regardless of whether it is the most dominant player in the 3rd series or the higher-level 4th player, Jian Wushuang can't compete now. So he wants to fight against the Lord of the Clouds, there are 3 ways. The first method is to break through and become the master. This method is the most simple and straightforward. As long as you break through and become the master, you can immediately retake the primordial realm. The Lord of the Demon Star can't stop it in the Devil Star at all. Over here, swords are unparalleled. They can also hide in the primordial world. The Lord of the Clouds dare not come in at www.novel. But he is a practitioner of perfect life level. The main rules of the ordinary rule are many times harder. Do-and-T look at his powerful ability now. He can be compared with the 3rd level master, and even understand a bit of the law of the universe, but it will take a long time to break through the master. The Lord of the Demon Cloud may go out at any time, and directly come to the Taiji Divine Realm. Jian Wushuang was not sure that he would break through and become the master before his deity reached Taiji Divine Realm. The second method is to place hope in this eternal dark prison. In the eternal dark prison, there are countless powerful men, and the number of masters reaching the 3rd rank is endless. Like this 9th dark area, there are thousands of masters reaching the 3rd rank, among which there are thousands of blade masters and blood rain demon. Such top powerhouses exist, and the 9th dark area is just one of the 108 dark areas of the demon dragon realm. There are countless strong people in the entire dragon domain, including kings like dragon lords. According to the guess of Jian Shuang, the 10 kings of eternal dark prison have at least the top of the 3rd level. If they do their best or play their cards, they can even reach the top level of the 3rd level. In this eternal dark prison, he has absolute rights and can easily suppress and subdue these powerful men. In this way, he can totally rely on this method to conquer a large number of 3rd level masters in this eternal dark prison. These 3rd level masters or 1-to-1 masters are far less powerful than the Demon Star Master, and can join hands with each other. Now, with some battle formations or special formations, you may be able to fight against the Lord of the Clouds. In addition to the above 2, there is also a last method to counter the Demon Star Master. This method is the magic flame hiding in the gourd. End of this chapter. Chapter 3893. 6 more arrive today. Demon Flame itself is an ultimate master. On strength, I do-and-T know how much better than that Devil Star. Even though it is only a state of the soul body, his soul has been completely repaired, and his gold-swallowing body has also began to reshape. As long as it is reshaped to a certain level, the soul body of the magic flame can perfectly fit the gold-swallowing body, so that it has a certain combat power during his lifetime. According to the magic flame itself, as long as the gold-swallowing body can recover 10% or 20%, he can rely on this body to barely exert the 4th rank to dominate the combat power, and relying on his experience during his lifetime, he has some secret skills. The Lord of the Clouds, who has just broken through to reach the 4th level, is definitely not his opponent. Whether it is to break through the dominion yourself or to conquer a large number of strong men in this eternal dark prison, it is just that you can barely compete with the Lord of the Devil Star, but it is still not enough to completely remove the threat brought by the Devil Star. Let the strength of the magic flame be restored to a certain level. It doesn't take much. It is just the 4th level combat power. With his previous experience, it is entirely possible to kill the Demon Star Master. Only then can it be completely resolved. The crisis of Demon Star. Jian Wushuang secretly said. Relying on the magic flame to kill the Demon Star Master, this method seems feasible to Jian Wushuang. Although he couldn't fully trust Demon Flame, but now he had at least mastered Demon Flame's life and death. With this method, Demon Flame did not dare to resist him. To restore the magic flame's swallowing gold body, a large number of special crystals are required, and the higher the level, the better. Blood Rain, take out all the special spar in your hand. Jian Wushuang commanded. Yes. Blood Rain Demon nodded and immediately counted the special spar in his hand and handed it to Jian Wushuang. Magic Flame, this golden Sangjia stone, as well as the Blood Rain, 1,000 kills and all the special spar in my hand, I can devour it for you, and in the next time, I will try to find more special ones for you as much as possible spar comes, and all you have to do is to raise the gold-swallowing body as much as possible. Jian Wushuang go. Understand, thank you master. Mo Yin was surprised inside. After talking to Demon Flame, Jian Wushuang looked again at the 2 slaves in front of him. Blood Rain, your accomplishments in the formation method are extremely high, and I just want to transform the sword technique I created into a sword formation. Although I have learned something and formed it in the 600 years of your formation method. The most basic sword formation, but that sword formation is too simple. Next, I need you and Chen Xia to help me improve my sword formation as much as possible. Jian Wushuang said. Blood Rain Demon looked at the Emperor with 1,000 kills and smiled. Although the Master is assured, maybe I dare not guarantee anything in other means, but in the Matrix method, the entire first floor of the Eternal Dark Prison will never be stronger than me. Since the Master wants to transfer sword art becomes a complete sword formation, and I can naturally help. Ziyuzhen laughed. I don't understand high in the formation method, but my attack power is not weak. If you want to test your sword formation, you can find me. Thousands killed the Emperor. That line. Jian Wushuang also laughed. Blood Rain, I will first show the 2 sword arrays I have improved over the years. Take a closer look and help me find as many deficiencies as possible. Jian Wushuang immediately walked out of the cave with his 2 big servants. In the void of the outside world, Jian Wushuang began to cast his 2 big sword arrays directly. First of all, of course, the lightsaber array. Buzzing. The sky and the ocean of swordsmanship swept open, with an endless mood flooding in all directions, and the entire ocean of swordsmanship looming under the cover of a heavy array. As soon as the wave lightsaber array was cast, the Blood Rain Demon in the center of the sword line was just a glance, and we saw many deficiencies in the lightsaber array. Master, you sword formation, although I haven't really experienced it, but just looking at it with my eyes, I have already seen a total of 13 shortcomings, of which the impact is not great, but there are still 9 places. There is obviously a lot of room for improvement. Blood Rain Demon said. Oh. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. His sword formation has just been cast, and the Blood Rain Demon has not yet truly realized the power of this sword formation, but with just a glance you can see so many deficiencies? And there are 9 places. There is a lot of room for improvement? Sure enough, you must be good at the Blood Rain Demon of formation, and there is nothing wrong with improving this sword array for me. Jian Wushuang smiled. Blood Rain, you have not yet carefully felt the power of this sword array. Promote the sword formation to show you feel good. Jian Wushuang laughed, and suddenly the monstrous sword-like ocean slammed into the Blood Rain monster. The Blood Rain Demon is plunged into the impact of Jinni Ocean. While arbitrarily resisting the sword impact from the surrounding impact, he is extremely wicked to find out the shortcomings of this array. Find out the shortcomings, and then further improve and follow the recommendations of Blood Rain Demon. Jian Wushuang's sword array can naturally be significantly improved. Time passed, and in a flash 30 years passed. In the past 30 years, Jian Wushuang did not go to other places in the 9th Dark Area, but stayed in the same place. The Blood Rain Demon and the 1,000-killing Emperor always followed him. For 30 years, Jian Wushuang has been perfecting and improving his 2 sword arrays with the help of Blood Rain Demon and the 1,000-killing Monarch. It has to be said that the improvement of the sword array with the help of Blood Rain Demon is much faster than Jian Wushuang alone in the formation of the Blood Rain Demon. He had been enlightened for 600 years alone in the formation method of the Blood Rain Demon, and in Jian Wushuang's view, he could not improve it by 1 year with the help of the Blood Rain Demon. 30 years later, the 2 sword arrays that are unparalleled in the sword are absolutely different from the 30 years. Above the vast void, Jian Wushuang stood side by side with Blood Rain Demon, and in the void in front of the 2 of them, the Emperor of the 1,000 kills stood there, but at the same time suffered the impact of the surrounding sword-like ocean. The same is the Sword of the Ocean, but now this Sword of the Ocean has the blessing of the formation, but the power is very different. I saw a heavy sword-like wave, any of which is enough for the general 3rd-level master to treat it with all its strength, and the impact force contained in that sword-like wave is also enough to easily hang the body dominated by the general 2nd-order smash. In terms of power alone, this ocean of swordsmanship is dozens of times stronger than before. Although the Emperor of thousands of slayers is powerful, he can sink into this ocean of swordsmanship, but he must also treat the surrounding waves with great dignity. Chapter 38-94. The first is more. I saw the 1,000-slaying Emperor caught in the wave of light sword array, constantly waving the axe in his hand. Each axe 1,000-slaying Emperor used his full strength and burst out the axe shadow, and then defeated the surrounding sword-like waves. However, a heavy wave broke and the second heavy hit immediately followed, endless and endless. Even if it was 1,000-killing Emperor, he only felt that he was now in an endless quagmire. Third axe. Thousands of slaying monarchs were swept away by an astonishing sense of killing, and 3 huge axe shadows appeared on the void and merged together. Quickly cut off. The third axe of the 1,000-slayed monarch is already the strongest axe he can cast without using his whole cards. But even so, this axe bombarded the surrounding wave lightsaber array, and saw countless waves coming in, violently colliding with this axe's shadow power. In the end, the power of this third axe can be said to have worked hard for 9 cattle and 2 tigers before they could barely defeat the wave lightsaber array. The sword array collapsed, and the surrounding sword-like ocean naturally dissipated. Thousands of lords came to Jianghu. Master, your lightsaber formation is harder than ever before. Even if I am caught in this sword formation and hit by the sky as sword-like waves, I must treat it with dignity. If I am caught in it for a long time, I will have a headache. And the toughness of this sword array is much stronger than the last time the host cast it. The last time you cast this lightsaber array, I can break it with ease using the third axe, but this time although the third axe is also broken, it is extremely difficult, and it can even be said to be extremely reluctant," said the 1,000-killed emperor. It should be noted that 30 years ago, the sword lightsaber wave lightsaber formation had just taken shape. At that time, this wave lightsaber formation did not threaten the 1,000-slayed monarch at all. The Emperor of the 1,000 Kills directly casts his first axe, and the power sent out is comparable to the penalty sword of the Demon Lord of the 1,000 Blades, and the wave lightsaber array is defeated by an axe. 30 years have passed, and the same wave of lightsaber formations, the 1,000-slayed monarch must cast a third axe to be able to barely defeat. Simply in terms of the toughness of the sword array, it is obviously much higher than 30 years ago. With the help of the rain and the 1,000 kills, the lightsaber formation of my wave is really huge. Now if the general third-level master is trapped in my lightsaber formation, I am afraid that the only thing I can do is use life-saving means to escape. Otherwise, you will be trapped in the sword array, but you want to forcibly defeat the sword array. Even the 1,000-edged demon lord, who was previously considered to attack and kill in this 9th dark area, couldn't do it. Jianghu also smiled. The strongest attack method of the 1,000-blade demon lord who has already died is Blood Sky Sword. The power of the Blood Sky Sword is not as good as the second axe of the 1,000-killing emperor. The burst broke. Of course, the wave of lightsaber array is only a sword array that is entangled with the enemy. If only the defense method of body protection is used, it is still far less than my Earthguard sword array. That is the truly unassailable sword array. A strange light shone in it. For 30 years, both of his 2 sword formations have greatly improved. Compared with the lightsaber array, the Earth guards the sword array and improves even more. Although on the Earth Guardian sword field, Jianghu still only condenses 52 major Guardian sword fields. The same number of Earth sword regions can be combined in different ways to form the Guardian sword formation on the Earth. Its body protection ability has not been improved compared to 30 years ago. 30 years ago, the 1,000-kill emperor showed his strongest whole card, that is, the 4th axe, which could frontally defeat his Earth Guardian sword array and hurt him at the same time. But now, if the Emperor of the 1,000 Kills once again casts that 4th axe, Jianghu can rely on the Earth to guard the sword array and can resist it very easily. Even the 4th axe is very difficult to shake this method. With these 2 sword arrays in hand, even if the master does not rely on the disciples' tokens of Hongyun, you can definitely walk sideways on the first floor of the Eternal Dark Prison. The first layer of Eternal Dark Prison is countless strong, even if I am afraid that the 10 most powerful kings have also paid an extremely heavy price so that they may hurt the owner. As for trying to kill you, the 10 great kings may not be able to do it even if they lose half their lives. It's also thanks to the help of the 2 of you for the past 30 years, especially the Blood Rain you. Jianghu smiled. He is very clear that he can make such great progress in the sword formation in the past 30 years, and he cannot be separated from the Blood Rain demon and the 1,000-killing monarch. Master, the 2 sword formations you have now are basically complete. Even if I cannot find some shortcomings in a short time, so if the master wants to continue to improve the sword formation in the future, he can only do so with different strong players. Go to war to fight and kill. I discovered it in the middle of the war. Well, I'm going to leave for a break. Jianghu nodded slightly. Blood Rain, 1,000 Kills, I'm going to leave for the break alone. As for the 2 of you, just stay here and wait for me. When I leave this eternal hell, I will return here and take you away. Yes. Blood Rain Demon nodded respectfully with the Qiansha Emperor. Immediately Jianghu left alone. After Jianghu left, the Blood Rain Demon stood side by side with the Qiansha Emperor, with different looks in his eyes. Thousands of kills, it seems that our luck is not too bad. At least the host we met was quite kind to us. Shuyu Mozen smiled. Well, we were both forced to surrender to him and even let him leave a mark on the source of our soul. I thought we would have a miserable life in the next 100,000 years, but now it seems that it's not that bad. At least our master is not the kind of evil creature who naturally treats us. He also nodded. The two of them lived hundreds of times of chaos in the eternal dark prison, and saw too much humanity's coldness and darkness. They thought that after surrendering to the Lord of the Blood Sword, the Lord of the Blood Sword would make a lot of excessive demands on them, and would not even treat them as human beings, and would order to scold them at will. Like the Blood Rain demon, she is extremely beautiful and charming, and she is even ready to give up her body and enjoy the sword at will. But the result? In the past 30 years, Jianghu only asked him to help him improve his sword array. There were no other requirements. Obviously, the host they surrendered was kind. Chapter 3895. Second more. I'm really glad now that we didn't burn like 1,000 blades instead of surrendering ourselves, said Chen Qian the emperor. Me too. Shuyu Dezun nodded with a smile. Qian Blade, too stubborn to be more proud of his bones, not willing to surrender to a ruler, but he did not want to think about this. The Lord is able to comprehend a bit of the law of the universe, and the combat power is strengthened like this at the level of the rule. Then what will be the future? It is not shameful to surrender to such a strong person. The Lord of the Blood Sword is very kind to us, and it is only 100,000 years. What can't stand, let alone the Lord of the Blood Sword, can promise to take us out of this eternal dark prison, and wait 100,000 years later. He just let me wait for freedom. When the universe is vast, we can go wherever we want. Haha, now I feel vaguely that being able to surrender to the Lord of the Blood Sword is a chance for you and me. Thousands killed the Emperor. Yes, I think so too, but surrendering for 100,000 years, but being able to leave this eternal dark prison in exchange for true freedom, is definitely worth it. The Blood Rain demon's eyes also flashed with light. If 30 years ago the two were more or less reluctant to surrender to Jianghu, but the situation forced them. So now, 30 years later, the two of them have no reluctance in their hearts. On the contrary, they are more than willing to accept the fact in front of them, and even regard it as an opportunity. The 9th Dark Area. After separating from Blood Rain Demon and 1,000 killing monarchs, Jianghu is still rushing here. Different from the previous alone, he now has absolute self-confidence in his own strength. Even if there is no disciple of Hongyan's disciples, he already has the first-level capital of this eternal dark prison. 3 days later, Jianghu met a strong man who was running alone, dominated by vultures. Vulture dominates. Among the many strong in the 9th Dark Zone, the strength is enough to rank a 3rd rank dominate in the top 100. He is extremely powerful in attacking and defending, and he is also good in speed. If he fights in close quarters, he can say that there are no weaknesses. However, the only disadvantage of this vulture's dominance is that his life-saving ability is a bit weak, and there is no such powerful means of life-saving. You are the Lord of the Blood Sword? Vultures in black armor and dominated with swords are dominated by the vultures, staring coldly, staring at the sword unparalleled in front of them. It is said that when you were in the 9th Dark Zone for a long time, you were followed by the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord. The Thousand-Edged Demon Lord was searching for your tracks in a wanton way, and in order to take away the rule of God from your hand with the ability of the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord, it should have been possible to find you, but you are still alive? Did you give the rule of the precious sword in your hand to the Thousand-Edged Demon Lord in exchange for your life? Frowning. Vulture dominates, it doesn't matter what, just shoot. Jianghu was too lazy to explain too much. Look for death. The vulture dominated his eyes coldly, and his figure turned directly into a cold black blade, killing him directly. A suffocating mighty power came from the sword. Knowing that the vulture dominated the fighting force, Jianghu did not want to kill him directly at all, but directly waved the Wu-crying Excalibur in his hand, and the endless artistic concept swept away. In a hurry, I saw the sky full of swords and oceans flooding all corners of the world, surrounding the vulture in the center. I ran all the way in this 9th Dark Zone to the present. I have encountered many strong people, even if they are the masters of the 3rd rank. I have also played with many of them. But so far I have not purely rely on my sword skills to killed any 3rd level master. Vulture dominates, you will be the first 3rd rank dominated by my own strength to kill. Jianghu cold voice sounded, the sound was trembling. The words were heard in the ears by the vulture master, but it was like a joke. Haha, ridiculous, you want to kill me? Even the 5 strongest people recognized in the 9th Dark Zone may not be able to do it, what else do you think? The ruler of a district should be so eloquent and suffer. Dominated by drinking and killing the sky. But he couldn't get close to the sword unmatched at all. The sword wave is huge and powerful. With the blessing of the sword array, the power is also extremely strong. The power of any heavy wave is not under the attack of the general third-level master. The vulture dominates like a sword and is extremely sharp, crushing a heavy AP wave coming from the surroundings. But a double-edged sword-like wave is okay, but after defeating dozens or even dozens of waves in a row, the face of the vulture-dominated changed. How come? This sword-like wave, the mighty power is not weaker than the attacks of ordinary third-level masters, but why the sword-like wave seems to be endless and torrential, and it comes from all directions at the same time, so I can only passive resistance is good for a short time. If it continues for a long time, how can I resist it? The vulture dominates the cold face. He noticed the intractability of this sword array. Without hesitation he immediately performed his best trick. I saw that he was turned into a black sword. The black sword was 10 feet long, exuding a mighty power, and slashed directly into the ocean of swords in front of him. But in the end, the sword-like ocean was only partially smashed by the dark sword, and a large amount of sword-like was filled immediately, and the sword-like ocean was immediately repaired. What? The vulture dominated by surprise. He realized that the sword array developed by the sword unparalleled was not only extremely difficult but also extremely tough. His strongest attack method could not completely break the sword array. Without breaking the sword array, he can only be trapped in the sword array, passively resisting the impact of the sword wave again and again, unable to escape at all. His divine power has also been consumed at an alarming rate, and over time most of his divine power has been consumed. Before the evolution into a wave lightsaber array, although the initial wave lightsaber technique alone could entangle people, but the heavy saber wave of the wave lightsaber technique was too weak to impact. Any third level the master can easily resist, and it doesn't even take much divine power, so at that time, even if a third-level master was stuck in the wave lightsaber, I could not kill the other party. But now it's different. Jian Wushuang smiled. The wave lightsaber array evolved from wave lightsaber is not only tough and extremely difficult to break, but also the heavy sword wave impacts, and the power is extremely powerful. This kind of power is not dare to be ignored by any third-level master. They must try their best to resist so that the other's divine power consumption will be great. 3 Heads M. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.